numbers come back down again or resume slowing, when the October numbers come out in about 3 or 4 weeks' time, then of course that will give them scope to pause.
Detectives have interviewed the driver involved in a crash at Dalesford, but no charges have yet been laid. The 66-year-old man remains in the care of medical staff. Police say their inquiries will continue after his eventual release from care. And the families of 2 teenage boys who were left for dead in an horrific car crash in Sydney's southwest say they're still in shock and trying to come to terms with the loss. King Charles has officially opened Britain's Parliament, outlining the priorities of the Prime Minister. More from UK correspondent Edward Godfrey.
This wasn't Charles's first speech to open Parliament, but it's his first since becoming monarch. He stood in last year for the late Queen, his mother, who was unwell. That was some months before she passed away. The pageantry was on full display, Charles and Camilla rolling out of the Buckingham Palace gates in a gilded state coach. The procession included 1,400 troops, and they did pass an anti-monarchy protest along the way. Awaiting them at the Palace of Westminster was a packed House of Lords and some quirky traditions. The speech itself was prepared by the Prime Minister and outlines the government's legislative agenda, and it's deliberately read out without inflection to avoid giving away the monarch's feelings on policies. The King began by paying tribute to his late mother. The speech itself only ran for about 10 minutes. Many say this is effectively the launch of Rishi Sunak's campaign, with a general election coming in the next year.
Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
Gliderall Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderall.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Glenn Maxwell has stunned at the Cricket World Cup, posting 201 not out off 128 balls to lead Australia to a 3-wicket win over Afghanistan. Australia looked to be in big trouble in the match at 7 for 91, chasing 292 to win. But here are the winning runs and Maxwell's milestone.
A 6 to bring up 200 and win the game.
Everybody here's on their feet. And Maxwell hits it high. Can it make it? It does make it. Glenn Maxwell. Unbelievable. The most remarkable thing you'll probably ever see in cricket. Staggering.
Unbelievable audio there, thanks to 9. Now the result means the Aussies have now won 6 straight matches and are guaranteed to make the World Cup semi-finals. Well, Connections are still celebrating with Out of Fight's emphatic Melbourne Cup win, with jockey Mark Zahra making it 2 wins in a row. It's been a huge spring carnival for the horse, becoming the first since 2001 to take out the Caulfield Cup Melbourne Cup double. Well, former Socceroo Mark Bosnich says he's not surprised Sydney FC coach Steve Corica has been sacked less than a month into the A-League men's season. The Sky Blues have played 3 games but are yet to register a point after suffering 3 consecutive losses. Meantime, there's plenty of European Champions League action on again this morning, including defending champions Manchester City, who will be taking on Young Boys. And that's the FIVEAA Sport.
Now the FIVEAA forecast.
When you've earned your dream bathroom, speak to Bathrooms by Design, Clovelly Park and Lonsdale.
Partly cloudy and 27 today, sunny tomorrow 29, sunny on Friday up to 35, and then partly cloudy Saturday down to 24. At the moment 9. More news as it happens on FIVEAA.
Breaking news at Beaumont's, Australia's newest range of hard flooring has arrived. Luxury vinyl, heavenly hybrid, stunning laminate and engineered timber. And right now, buy 5 square metres and get the next one free. For all your flooring needs, you'll be happy you chose Beaumont's.
Mawson Lakes Mazda's 2023 plate clearance sale is on now. Discover amazing deals across the entire range, including free on-road costs on all cars. That's right, free on-road costs across the entire Mazda range. Hurry in to find your perfect model and colour. The sooner you get to the showroom, the better your chance of scoring your dream car. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city, Salisbury Highway.
How to be excellent at entertaining. Have a quick panic clean. Hide things in cupboards. Close every door. Light the candles. Decanter the wine. And most importantly, make sure you're well stocked with a selection of Frederick Street finest. Dry roasted almonds, honey roasted cashews, crackerjack mix and more. Look for Frederick Street finest in a fancy blue packet at your local Drake's supermarket. Be excellent anywhere with Frederick Street finest. Devoted to excellence.
Shop great value gifting this Christmas at Coles. Like half-price Cadbury chocolate covered fruit or nut, 190 to 340 gram jars, now just $5 each. It's the perfect stocking stuffer. That's great value, hands down, at Coles. Offer ends Tuesday.
City Discount Tires.
For the best advice and price on tyres and mechanical, see City Discount Tyres. With local deals on the world's biggest and best brands in tyres, wheels, suspension and parts for four-wheel drive, SUVs and passenger cars. Finance available. Find your nearest dealer at citydiscounttyres.com.au. We're driven by value.
City Discount Tires.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Jobs, apprenticeships, traineeships and careers. Maxima can help. Learn more today at maxima.com.au.
7 after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Wednesday on 5AA Breakfast. Massive program on the way this morning. Over the course of the morning, we'll be chatting with the Assistant Police Commissioner, Linda Williams. David Koch will join us, the Port Adelaide Football Club President. We're going to talk about a new app aimed at helping out South Australians during times of bushfire. And we're going to handle on the Melbourne Cup's popularity as of yesterday. We spoke a little bit about is it waning? Is it building? Where's the Melbourne Cup at in terms of the key measurables, as they say, in the other part of the business that David and I aren't allowed to knock around in? David, good morning to you.
Key measurables. That's a key measurable you rarely meet. We were using that sort of management jargon.
I knew you'd
KPIs.
Like it. I knew you'd like it.
I didn't watch it. Good morning to you. Good morning to all of our beloved listeners. I'm totally out of the habit. I've never really got into it. In fact, it sounds almost un-Australian, but I think a lot of us feel this way. I can remember as a kid, because back in the day, we all had to stop class to watch the Melbourne Cup.
I'm sure that still happens.
Does it happen?
Oh,
do
did
teachers
when I was at school?
Do teachers stop? Do they still do that?
Good question.
I reckon these days, I think there'd be more sensibilities around it, because there'd be some kids who, for all sorts of reasons, for cultural reasons and by culture, I'm not singling out any particular non-Anglo faith, because I reckon a lot of white Aussie Christian families don't like it. There'd be people who have real problems with the endorsement of gambling.
I remember I reckon I was in about year 2, year 3, something like that, and we did a classroom sweep. The attitudes to gambling were probably a little bit different.
Yeah,
back then.
A classroom sweep.
Yeah, it was a class sweep.
Yeah, well, I reckon we did that.
It was really exciting.
But I can remember watching the race thinking, why are we watching this? It doesn't got no appeal whatsoever. Do you reckon in a couple of 100 years' time we'll look back and think, how was horse racing ever legal?
I think those people will in a couple of 100 years' time.
We sound like a couple of killjoys, don't we?
Among a suite of things they'll see that we think is totally normal that they don't understand how it was ever legal.
Like non-stop gambling advertising?
Yeah, but even probably less dubious things that we do on a daily basis. God knows where the world will be at that point in time. But I actually think a huge part of the culture of it, beyond, I mean, there's a lot of people like horse racing. That's par for the course. But is the effect it has on workplaces. Because it's, if you don't have to really be into it, but it's fun having a Tuesday afternoon off.
Yeah. Or a Tuesday afternoon where you can skive off.
That's right. So everyone's a bit into it. Because what do you want to do? Sit at your desk?
I saw, though, yesterday what is quite possibly the most disgusting thing I've ever seen.
Oh.
It's a scourge. It has to be nipped in the bud. And I think the short explanation for it is a one-word explanation, Melbourne. What about this new trend of blokes wearing shorts with suit jackets? Did you see the number of guys getting around with these? They're like actual suit pants, but they're cut in half.
I've seen that look before.
It was everywhere. It was everywhere at Flemington. They look like a pack of half-wits. But then they're wearing like dress shoes, but with the sockette.
Yes, the ankle sock.
So you got all these guys. A lot of them had tats as well, like these dodgy-looking, silly tats that they're probably already regretting, like poor old Cole Chalmers. But what looked like a decent pair of Peter Shearer strides that some nung had cut in half.
Apparently it was a rule at the Victorian Racing Club that shorts were allowed for the very first time.
So this is why all the guys were in their shorts.
So it was but
they just look ridiculous. Like it looked like someone had, when people have bad divorces and the guy goes to his suit cupboard and all his suits have had one leg cut off. It looked like a prank.
Isn't it a Bon Scott look?
Bon Scott from AC/DC.
Isn't it an AC/DC look?
Bon Scott never wore a suit jacket in his life.
No, who wore the school uniform in the cut-off?
Oh, Angus Young.
Angus Young.
But his is just a proper school uniform.
Right.
Like, it's not like he's wearing the shorts and blazer combo.
It is. Well, you know what, though? How far is the walk from Halloween to Melbourne Cup Day these days?
Yeah.
Is it as big a gap as we imagine? It's all just dressing up for effect, isn't it?
Mm. We had the annual photo gallery yesterday of people with their heads in the hedges, having an up and under.
We've got lots of Dutton's texts on this. The other thing we should point out is I imagine we might have fewer Dutton's texts today because there's a big story around the nation is that Optus is not operating. If you've got an Optus phone, I'll tell you what, if yours is operating, call us and tell us because I think even Optus would like to know. 10.2 million customers suffering an outage as of right now. Someone texted us saying what's going on with Optus. That's a great question. We don't know. There's nothing up on Optus' website. If you go to Down Detector, there are these websites now that talk about people that have registered complaints about outages. Essentially, things started picking up at about 3 a.m. this morning, and obviously, as you might imagine, people waking up peaking now, reporting that their phones aren't working. Now, it's broader than just mobile phones. There's reports in the eastern states, obviously half an hour ahead of us, that FPOS services linked to Optus too aren't working. So it's a hell of a...
tram services down in Melbourne as well.
Tram services down in Melbourne. There's trams are back up working.
Back up.
But there's a host of things that rely on the Optus network that just simply aren't happening at the moment. We will make some inquiries, and as soon as we get more information, we'll let you know precisely what's going on. But if you've got an Optus phone, that is why you can't call anyone this morning. That's why you've probably got no data. And I imagine the only way you can get in touch with us is probably via your home internet, in which case you're going to have to go along on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream and chat with us that way.
I've even gone to the trouble of wearing a collared shirt today too.
Well, you must have known.
I just had an inkling.
You just knew.
I tell you what, I had a weird night's sleep. This is what happens to your teenage kids when they're on swap vac with only one exam to do. I woke up at 3:19 a.m. My phone went ping. And often that can mean that there's been some big story overnight and it's one of us texting each other. But it was from my teenage son saying, "Hey, Dad, I'm going to bed now. What about the big show?" Glenn Maxwell will be talking about that in some detail with Tom shortly. I reckon probably the greatest one-day innings of all time. Astonishing.
Quite remarkable. Yeah, it's amazing.
We'll take back all the shade we were casting on him the other day after he turned against the Netherlands as well.
Well, he plays better when he's having fun, clearly. Was there any black armbands or kneeling or anything that went on with the Australian cricket team before the game last night? Did they register any protest at all?
No, why?
I just would have thought, the team that needed counselling after the referendum and the team that can't play with a fossil fuel company on the front may have had a concern with playing a cricket game against a country that with habitual human rights abuses that forced its women's team into exile because they banned women playing cricket. I just would have thought that'd be the kind of thing if you're that way inclined.
They can't be up with everything, though. There's a lot going on in the world.
I just would have thought that might be something that,
That's harsh.
Is it?
Well,
feels
you
like...
mean because the Taliban are back in control?
Yeah, those. I just would have thought, given their political sensibilities and all the things they register protest on, that this might be one in their wheelhouse they might have a focus on. I mean, they cancelled some ODIs earlier in the year, but, there was 2 points on the line at the World Cup this time, so...
Yeah, well, there's a lot to play for. Securing a top 4 berth.
Yeah.
Let's not rain on Glenn's parade.
I wonder if they'll need counselling.
Did they actually take up the offer of counselling? Was it offered to them or sought? Because there's a big difference there.
16 after 6, 8223 0000. Let's you can text us on the Dutton's text line. There are lots coming through about the horse races. We might get to those in just a moment. With a huge range of vehicles available on the hills and Murray Bridge, Dutton's can deliver right now. News headlines next.
You'd be surprised how much you can reduce, reuse and recycle in a day. The milk bottle from your morning cereal, the foil lid on your yogurt from lunch, your broken phone that's gathering dust, right down to composting those veggie scraps at dinner. From morning, noon to night, Pause and take the time to think about what you're throwing away. Recycling. What goes around, comes around. Explore more recycling ideas or how to get involved at nationalrecyclingweek.com.au.
Gentlemen, wish you could sleep at night without getting up constantly to pee? Caruso's Prostate Ease Max relieves the frequency of nighttime urination in men with medically diagnosed benign prostatic hypertrophy or enlarged prostate. So if you'd like to pee less and sleep more, try Caruso's Prostate Ease Max. Available from leading pharmacies and health stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use. If you've not had your symptoms diagnosed or if your symptoms persist or worsen, consult a medical practitioner.
Now, if you just like coffee, any old roaster will do. But if you love coffee, there is only one place in Adelaide you belong.
Simply Coffee is the ultimate destination for coffee connoisseurs, serving take-home bags of fresh and traditionally roasted coffee beans in-store daily.
Now, Peter, Lucy and Sally, they know their stuff. They've been running the store for over 18 years. And as masters of beanology, they know that every coffee fan has their own flavour. And they'll find yours with a selection of 18 beans from across the globe, plus unlimited blends. And they're provided either as fresh beans or those handy little Nespresso-compatible capsules, which we've got here in the tea room.
So come meet Peter and the team, find your ideal grind, and upgrade from coffee made with love to coffee made with passion.
Simply Coffee. It's a cellar door for coffee lovers. Visit their Kentore store or order online at simplycoffee.com.au.
For nearly 40 years, no one has done certified used cars quite like Steinborner Automotive, with dedicated yards including SA's best range of commercials loaded and ready to go, including SA's only dedicated small car and SUV centre, and SA's only large SUV and 4x4 centre suited for any lifestyle. Steinborner still also has the best range of Commodores from ZBs to the collectibles. View all late model used vehicles at steinborner.com.au. Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth the trip.
Each week, IGA checks and matches the regular prices of the big two on hundreds of essentials. Here's proof.
Like the Country Chef Bakery Co Pavlova, 500 grams, $6 each. Price match.
We checked, we matched, you won't pay more.
Offer ends November 14. Participating IGA stores only.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Know someone finishing school and looking for an apprenticeship or a traineeship? Visit maxima.com.au.
9 after 6, let's get into the news headlines on this Wednesday, the 8th of November. Almost 400 schools will either be closed or offer a modified program tomorrow when teachers strike. Year 12s are being assured the industrial action will not impact their exams. Even if a school is officially closed, exams will go ahead on school grounds. The full list of schools closing or partially closing is on the Education Department's websites.
Who's giving them that reassurance? Is it the AEU? How can they say that if there's students who are doing Year 12 exams on Friday, they want to talk to their teachers tomorrow, the teacher's on strike?
Well, they're only giving them assurance that the exam will go ahead, not that they'll have access to the teacher.
So we've got no issue with people striking. Unions have got a right to exist. People are allowed to strike if they're getting stiffed over pay and conditions, but the timing of this is just so pig-headed and dumb.
Well,
and I've never seen so many anti-teacher comments. I had a look at the advertisers' coverage of this, and their story was a perfectly straight news account of where the strike is at. There were more than 250 comments, and overwhelmingly, I reckon 80 to 90% of them were having a real crack at the AEU, which is fine, but a lot of them were just drifting into the, teachers are bludgers, all those tired old tropes about, all the holidays and all this and all that. Oh, and that's on the AEU. They're the ones, and through years of dogged commitment to being utter pedants and clock watchers, but this is, they've saved the worst till last with this strike. Doing it in Year 12 exams is just dumb.
Could anyone explain why they didn't delay it 8 days? Delayed 8 days, and none of the Year 12 exam stuff is a concern.
Speaking of Year 12 exams, we need to do our daily question.
It's coming up after 6:30.
We forgot to do chemistry yesterday.
Yeah, don't worry, we weren't getting it right. We'll get into that after 6:30. Australians are using cocaine and methamphetamine at the highest level in 3 years. The Criminal Intelligence Commission has released its findings to provide insight into the country's drug market. Principal Advisor for Drugs, Shane Nielsen, says there are ways to reduce consumption to bring down the trend of drug use.
Law enforcement agencies assist in this process by supply reduction. So
targeting the traffickers, manufacturers and importers of illicit drugs. And health sector and also the not-for-profit sector plays an important role in terms of treatment and education program.
Cost of living pressures doesn't seem to harm the drug trade, does it?
It's crazy, isn't it?
Which is, I guess, goes to the fact that if you're addicted to a drug, you see it as the most essential thing you can buy, I guess.
Yeah, you structure your whole life around it.
Doctors want head trauma and sporting history to be included in a routine medical record. The Royal College of Pathologists of Australasia is warning about a link between CTE and repeated concussions, encouraging the federal government to adopt the findings of its Senate inquiry. CTE, of course, is the, hundreds of head knocks over the course of your footballing career. That currently is a court case brought by former AFL players, but CTE is the one that they discovered in the NFL years ago. The Prime Minister is heading into the Pacific Islands Forum, concluding what he claims has been a very successful 4-day visit to China.
It provides an opportunity for us to move forward with common interests. In the interests of Australia and in the interests of China, has been stabilising the relationship, and there is no doubt that this visit has helped to assist that process.
I was just saying to Will during the outbreak before, in terms of the jobs benefits of us having a good relationship with China, no state has a bigger dog in the fight than ours. Wine, barley, lobsters. But having said all that, particularly with the Reserve Bank yesterday jacking up rates for the 13th time, there's a huge increase on the cusp of Christmas, possibly even one more. All of the overseas travel that the PM is taking, albeit in some cases hugely important, like this one, it makes it look like he's lost focus on domestic issues.
And I don't think anyone, if you in the cold and rationally talk about it, would suggest he shouldn't go to China. I mean, as you say, it's hugely important. But it's why you've got to be judicious about how you spend your time when you're in Australia. And the PM spent 12 months talking about the referendum. So that's why these trips look bad. He has to do these trips. But it looks like he's been distracted because when he was here, he was talking about something that wasn't cost of living.
Yeah, he hasn't had a big focus on this. And to get that speech last week...
Oh, now it's the focus.
That was almost like his real Julia moment.
Oh, God.
Remember that?
Yeah, it was like that.
The fake Julia. I'm going, duh, that's your job, mate. You're the Prime Minister of Australia. You're meant to be there looking after cost of living issues for people.
The driver of a car which crashed into a beer garden in country Victoria, killing 5 patrons, has been interviewed by police. No charges have been laid. Officers say they'll continue their inquiries when the 66-year-old man is released from hospital.
I think so many people are keen to find out what happened here.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
9.7 outside in Adelaide at the moment. It's cool. We're the coolest capital city in the country right now. It won't stay that way, though, because we've got one of the highest forecasts. Forecast maximum, 27 today, then 29 tomorrow, 35 on Friday and sunny. There'll be a change for the weekend, but even that's been revised up ever so slightly. 24 on Saturday, 24 Sunday, 25 Monday, and then the only day that's any cooler than that, 22 Tuesday and cloudy. Tom Wren's just wandered into the 5AA Breakfast Studio. Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. Morning, Rennie.
Morning, boys. Look, we'll get to the Melbourne Cup, but I think the big story overnight is what the Big Show has done. I've just watched the highlights. Do yourself a favour. You will never see anything like this. Glenn Maxwell's just made 201 not out overnight to guide Australia home against Afghanistan. So I'll set it up for you. They were chasing 292 to win, 7 for 91. Glenn Maxwell was facing a hat-trick ball, given out, LBW. He was plumb. He was gone, if not for the faintest of nicks. So he survives that, then gets dropped at short fine leg. Absolute sitter by Majib. And I think he went, you know what, I'm just going to swing. And he's gone.
So what was 7 for 80 in the 20th over?
7 for 91.
7 for 91.
Yep, and him and Pat Cummins put on 202. Cummins was on 12 at the end of that. And he made 201. Now, in that, he's hit 21 fours, 10 sixes, just the third player in history to get a World Cup double century. It's the 10th highest ever score in a one-day international. He started cramping from probably about 90 or 100. He literally cannot move, and it's all just swinging from the hips and
Didn't Zampa come down, padded up, ready to go on, thinking this guy can't continue, and Maxwell sent him away?
He just kept swinging. I've never seen cleaner hitting, like from a stable base. It is extraordinary. These are the winning runs. this is how they brought up the win. They needed 6 to win, and he needed 6 to get the double century.
A 6 to bring up 200 and win the game.
Everybody here's on their feet. And Maxwell hits it high. Can it make it? It does make it. Glenn Maxwell. Unbelievable. The most remarkable thing you'll probably ever see in cricket. Staggering.
And that audio there, thanks to Fox and 9, you get the full gamut with Maxwell, don't you? He's missed a game this tournament because of concussion. Because
we forgive him that now.
He fell off a golf cart. He makes a golden duck in another game. That's the way he plays. It's high risk, but unbelievable.
It's the greatest one innings ever, isn't it?
I think by an Australian, it's close. It has to
well,
be
as
close.
an 8th wicket stand.
Yeah.
Because most of the double centuries you think about, it's with batsmen coming in at first or second
Yeah.
drop.
Well, and the context too.
Yeah,
It's to get to a World Cup semi-final.
Yeah, it's massive. You can't help but feel a little bit sorry for Afghanistan because that probably would have put them through. Or very close.
Wow.
Along with it. I think Australia probably still would have made it. This guarantees they make it to the semi-finals.
Because Afghanistan would have leapfrogged New Zealand.
That's right, on an extra win. So
They played really well,
they're a good team. They're a very good team.
The thing I liked about the Maxwell innings, Rennie, too, no helmet, no hat, just clean up top.
Yeah.
Got the job done. I haven't seen that since the 80s, I think.
Yeah, it's something to behold. Yeah, it was a classic old school.
Yeah, it's a good look, I reckon, going out to bat with just nothing on.
And he can't. The whole body's cramping. You've got to see it to believe it. It's remarkable. So that's going to dominate headlines as it should today. It puts him in the top 10 as well for leading run scorers this World Cup. The other two, by the way, that have made World Cup double centuries, both in 2015, Martin Guptill and Chris Gale. So they're the only other two that have done it. The race yesterday, without a fight, ended up getting it done. I think I threw it in there.
Yeah, you did.
In the tips, but there weren't too many others.
Well, you're 5 in a row. What do you call that?
Yeah, the boxed up, trifecta. I think I gave 5 numbers, and that was one of them. But a couple of the other ones were pretty disappointing. But a great result for Mark Zahra. He had the choice before the Melbourne Cup. Not too many jockeys get this choice, but he's in very good form to ride either Gold Trip or the eventual winner without a fight, and he made the right choice, didn't he? He decided to go with the one that won. Gold Trip just had a bit too much weight. It ended up coming 5th, a pretty good ride, but amazing story. First horse since 2001 to win the Caulfield Cup and also the Melbourne Cup in the same year. So celebrations are going long and hard into the night for the connections there. But I thought it was a pretty good race. It was dominant in the end. The weather held off. So how did you boys spend it? Pretty quiet?
I was in the garden.
You're in the garden?
Yeah, I was asleep.
Just quickly, Tom, what do you think of the short and jacket combination? You're a well-dressed bloke. Well, you're a bit of a pioneer because you've been, but yours is different because you wear like exercise shorts.
Yeah, ready to go.
And your TV jacket.
Pretend to go to the gym afterwards. I don't mind it. I didn't see too many blokes sporting that look yesterday at Flemington, from what I could see.
Oh, no, there are a few. Unless the paper just deliberately picked them out.
Well,
there's a big photo gallery of guys getting around in the shorts.
Okay, well, given that I, do it a bit myself, I've got to say it's a big thumbs up from me.
You started it, but you do it with the exercise shorts and the shirt.
Yeah.
If that was at Flemington, that would really be something. I think the sport reporter look.
Yeah, exactly.
Good on you, Rennie.
Thanks, boys. Good
Tom.
stuff.
Gliderol Garage Doors' new Platinum Native Series sectional doors are here. Gliderol.com.au.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy and 27 with the 6:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Complete windscreen supply and fit, front, rear and door glass. Proudly South Australian since 1976.
More than 10 million people are being affected by a major IT failure, with services down for Optus users around the country. Reece D'Alessandro reports.
The nationwide outage is impacting millions of Optus customers who are this morning reporting connection issues both on mobile devices and home Wi-Fi, with Optus mobile customers also saying they're unable to make phone calls. The issue emerged around 3 o'clock this morning and goes further than just Optus. Other telco providers, including Aussie Broadband, Dodo and Amaysim, use the Optus network, Amaysim alerting customers to a nationwide outage on their website. Early indications are this is a technical issue, not a cybersecurity problem, but Optus is yet to respond to today's outage.
A leading property expert says the latest rate hike will put a dent in the current housing market. Borrowers will be forced to pull back on spending on things like food, petrol and basic goods to make debt repayments. CoreLogic Research Director Tim Lawless says an increase on interest rates was expected as inflation remains high.
Hopefully this is the last rate hike in the cycle, but it probably does mean, with inflation expected to remain high for longer, that we're not going to be seeing a rate cut anytime soon. At the very least, we're looking probably at the second half of next year for rates to start coming down.
A shed has gone up in flames at Christie Downs this morning. Crystal Mitchell from the MFS says the blaze broke out on Marcion Street just before 5.
12 firefighters wearing breathing apparatus with high-pressure lines extinguished the fire in 20 minutes. The shed contained 2 Harley-Davidson bikes and a spa. Fire cause investigators will be attending this morning to determine damage and cause.
A man's expected to front court today after allegedly pulling a gun on a police officer on the Gold Coast. Chloe Affleck reports.
Police were called to Karen Avenue in Mermaid Beach yesterday morning to conduct a welfare check on a man seen slumped in his car. However, the situation quickly turned when the 32-year-old allegedly got out of the car and made threats towards the female officer while holding her at gunpoint. The officer managed to escape uninjured. However, it's then alleged the man attempted to get into a number of vehicles before he was taken into custody. The 32-year-old man has been charged with a string of offences including serious assault police, obstruct police and deprivation of liberty. He will appear at Southport Magistrates Court today.
Victorian detectives have interviewed the driver involved in the weekend's horror crash at Daylesford. 5 people died when a car mounted the curb and struck patrons outside the Daylesford Hotel on Sunday night. The driver, a 66-year-old man, was taken to hospital. He's now been interviewed, but no charges have been laid. The Prime Minister's heading to the Pacific Islands Forum, concluding what he claims has been a successful trip to China.
It provides an opportunity for us to move forward with common interests. In the interests of Australia and in the interests of China, has been stabilising the relationship, and there is no doubt that this visit has helped to assist that process.
2 models are being presented to streaming giants, which will soon be forced to produce a certain quota of local content. One's based on the number of subscribers a platform has. Those with fewer than 1 million will face no obligation to produce Australian shows. The second's based on the revenue Netflix, Stan and other platforms make from the Australian market. And there's been an exciting discovery in northeast Queensland with scientists locating a rare lizard not seen in more than 40 years. The Lyons grassland striped skink was last seen in 1981. Associate Professor Conrad Hoskins says it was feared to be extinct.
Because it hadn't been seen for so long. There had been a couple of surveys in those 40 years which had not been successful, and then decided it was a priority to try find the skink again to check whether it was still alive, and especially because there were fears that it was extinct.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderroll Garage Doors' new Platinum and Native Series sectional doors are here. Gliderroll.com.au.
And Tom ran a great knock from Glenn Maxwell.
Unbelievable, Kendall. He has smashed Australia to a famous World Cup win over Afghanistan. Eddie Summerfield has more.
After Ibrahim Zadran hit 129 in Afghanistan's 291, it was never going to be an easy chase for Australia. The Aussies collapsing to 7 for 91 when Pat Cummins joined Glenn Maxwell at the crease, the all-rounder owning the strike after being dropped early in his innings. The pair combined for a record 8th wicket partnership of 202, Maxwell cramping and with minimum footwork after passing 100. He swatted 10 sixes, 22 fours in his unbeaten 201, the highest score by an Australian. The Aussies now securing a spot in the semi-finals after the 3-wicket win.
Just extraordinary. Meantime, South Australia will be hunting quick wickets on day 3 of its Shield clash against Queensland at the Gabba. The Bulls will begin the day at 1 for 82 in reply to the Redbacks' 5 for 359 declared. Well, jockey Mark Zahra has revealed it was down to a decision of which horse had a better chance of winning the Melbourne Cup when weighing up riding without a fight or gold trip. And at the European Champions League, Ukraine club Shakhtar Donetsk has beaten Barcelona 1-0. Borussia Dortmund down Newcastle 2-0. The morning's other matches are just kicking off now, including Manchester City, who are taking on Young Boys. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
When you've earned your dream bathroom, speak to Bathrooms by Design, Clovelly Park and Lonsdale.
Partly cloudy day, heading for 27. Sunny tomorrow, 29, up to 35 on Friday, and then partly cloudy Saturday, down to 24. At the moment, 11. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Jobs, apprenticeships, traineeships and careers. Maxima can help. Learn more today at maxima.com.au.
24 minutes to 7. Lots of Duttons text through in that first half hour. Duttons with a huge range of vehicles available on the hills and Murray Bridge can deliver right now. We'll get to those in just a second. We've also got the winners of the 5AA Breakfast Melbourne Cup sweep to announce. That's coming up very, very shortly.
A lot of messages from people using Optus who are using other means to contact us. Leslie on the Facebook live stream says, Optus customer here, not happy Jan. I'm using my sister-in-law's Wi-Fi, but once I leave home I'm stuffed. With my work I have to log into an app to start and finish. Well, that won't be happening. Another one here from Anne, also on the Foodland live stream. Good morning all. One of my phones is a Maysim. I thought I'd use my 100 gigs by accident. Jonathan says, guys, we're an Optus household and we've got nothing. Gosh. No mobiles. That's 2 adults and 4 kids. No NBN. That's Optus as well.
No.
Thankfully, my work phone is Telstra, so I can send this SMS.
Well, you know what we want to hear from as well this morning? Because it's obviously it's beyond nuisance, certainly if you rely on it for work and you're an individual. But if you're a business that's on the Optus network this morning, we want to hear from you. Now, it might require you going to the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream and leaving us a comment that way, or just on the 5AA Facebook page.
Well, you might have to write us a letter and we'll read it out next Tuesday.
But if you run a cafe, for example, and your FPOS doesn't work, well, you can't just convert back to cash necessarily if you don't have the infrastructure for it.
Well, no one's got cash anyway.
Well, that's it.
What percentage of people have got
How many
cash?
people who buy a coffee in the morning are paying in cash?
20% of people?
I never carry cash.
No, I don't. I only use cash for my monthly dinner with my mates at Wahing, where we all split the bill by using cash, put it all in the middle.
So if you're a business that's affected, let us know, because we do want to chat with you this morning about what does that look like for you, what happens, what kind of communication do you get from Optus. Looking online, nothing is the answer at the moment.
The other question too, is it a glitch or is it a hack?
Well, we don't know the answer to any of these. I mean, this has been going on for hours now. It's 10.2 million people. Hello? Maybe Optus can't get through.
Yeah.
Do let us know if you're a business that's affected this morning. Lots of other Duttons texts as well. But mind you, that is the dominant talking point, isn't it?
One here saying, I'm furious about Albo's China visit. It looks like we're kissing China's backside. We were okay before on trade with China. Why do we need them now? Well, look, talk to a winemaker. Talk to a barley or grain grower or a lobster farmer. Whether we like it or not.
And long term, China tends to build a lot of stuff, and they use a lot of the stuff that we have in the ground.
Yes.
It works out kind of well for the Australian economy and how much tax you pay that China's on a good trade.
It works out vastly better for us than it does for China. Because isn't that right? You're the economics guru here. Isn't the balance of trade way in our favour?
Well, think about it this way. Would you rather be an Australian business with access to China or a Chinese business that suddenly gets access to Australia?
Yeah.
A market of 20 million people or a market of 1 billion people?
Yeah, exactly. Guy in Highgate on the sartorial developments at Flemington yesterday says, I suspect that the shorts and jacket look at the Melbourne Cup will not be seen outside the confines of Flemington at any stage. It won't even last as long as flares and body shirts did in the 1970s. Good on you, Guy.
The economics exam is on today. Sort of feels sort of worth putting into the conversation at this point in time. It starts with we've got the economics exam, I think, from last year. Is it loose? Last year, the economic exam, or a couple of years ago? It's a recent economics exam that Year 12's had.
It's one of the practice exams.
One of the practice exams you can do online. And the first page of it, I'll hold up for the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream people, features a whole bunch of graphs that tell you sort of a health dashboard for a country. You just shuddered.
Anything involving graphs. What struggle from the start.
So there's real GDP, there's unemployment rate, there's the cash rate target.
You should answer this question, not me.
Government budget balance, the exchange rate. Government debt.
Come on, Will, show off. I reckon we're looking at a high credit or a low distinction.
No,
if you
I don't
answer
think
this
so.
One.
The story largely told by these graphs is of a country that is struggling a bit. Interest rates are getting cut. Unemployment's on the way up. They've just gone through a mining recession in 2018. Okay, so that gives you a bit of background. You don't actually need to see the graphs to answer these questions. The first question: explain 2 limitations of using real GDP to measure economic growth.
So GDP is gross domestic product. which is how much money a country makes, is it not?
What's the sum of all the country makes and produces?
So what's the question again? The problem with
Two limitations of using real GDP to measure economic growth.
Does it give you a misleading idea as to whether the country is growing or not? Because some industries could be doing well, whereas others are not doing well.
I reckon that is a limitation of using real GDP. It's the data's too
narrow.
It's all encompassing. So,
well, yeah, not granular.
It's
enough.
not granular enough. I think that's legitimately a
stupid, pretentious modern term. I can't think of another one.
I would suggest, for the purpose of the exam, they're probably trying to get you to say that GDP figures only tell you where you've been, not where you are right now. So GDP comes out quarterly. You know what the state of your economy was last quarter. You don't know what it is right now. And that's one of the tricks with it all the time. So when you're trying to write policy around GDP figures, you're always playing catch-up.
Are there any other questions?
Yep. Second, select one lagging indicator from the data for country A.
I got a lagging indicator on my 1994 Toyota Hiace. I got to get that fixed.
Unemployment data, I reckon, is a lagging indicator. That's a bit like GDP growth.
I'll look back.
It tells you, say the interest rate changes, your unemployment data, it takes a while for it to flow through to unemployment.
Did you do this in Year 12?
No, I didn't.
Did you do it at uni?
This came to me late in life. Explain how lagging indicators can help the government of country A to better manage the economy. Just put into the next part.
Just, the vibe.
Well, I guess you can see the impact of the decisions you've made.
I hope Mr. Dolling isn't listening. Darryl Dolling was my Year 11 economics teacher. No, Year 10. You were Year 11 at Marion High. I never went on with it. It never really clicked with me, economics. He's a good bloke, Mr. Dolling.
So once again, very little help if you've got the economics exam today. Good luck to you.
Yes.
Good luck.
Not getting any help from us.
No, none whatsoever.
When's history?
When is he? I think history's the last day, is my funny feeling.
No, I know, because my son's doing it. It's
geography's the last
Monday,
day.
Isn't it? Monday? No, Wednesday next week.
We'll get a bit of fun with that then on Monday of next week. Now, the FIVEAA breakfast sweep. Free $100 vouchers for unique home-style foods. Get unique pies, sausage rolls and donuts from your local independent supermarket. Unique. It's time for something better. In third place came Shiraz, which means $100 for Catherine from Warradale. In second place, Solcombe, Doug from Blakeview. That's you with $100 worth of unique home-style foods.
On your Doug.
And in first place, Helen from Glanville had Without a Phone.
Well done, Helen.
Now, this is... We need to follow up this latest Dutton's text we've just got through.
So SA Health are apparently having big issues. All hospitals use Optus PABX. I'm not sure what PABX stands for. But emergency plans are apparently being enacted. That's from Jimmy in Eastwood. A few people saying keep it in perspective. Craig from Aberfoyle Park says, morning team, eek, no phone or internet service at home. First world problem, go for a walk, talk to the family. Enjoy the few hours you have without technology. Enjoy your day.
I mean, primarily the concerns of people that won't derive an income today because of the outage.
Correct.
Those people aren't going to go for a walk when you run the local coffee shop and you've got bills to pay. Isn't really good. Well, it's kind of cold comfort, isn't it?
Yeah. I think Craig's point, though, about, the extent to which our whole social lives revolve around this stuff
absolutely.
Is a totally valid one, though. But, yeah, if you're trying to make a quid and feed your family in the middle of a cost of living squeeze, it's a complete pain.
15 to 7. If that is you, do call us. We're interested in talking with the business about how does your day look? How does it work? What does it mean for you? 8223 or you can text us on the Dutton's text line if you can get to someone with a phone who's not on Optus that works 048 08 1395. In the meantime, we'll contact SA Health and indeed the Transport Department too, because we know the impact of this in Melbourne has been some disruptions to the public transport system. We haven't heard any suggestion yet that that's the case here, but we're going to double check it for you in just a moment. Keezer, are you tired of back pain? Try Keezer, KIESER.com.au.
Thanks, Will, and good morning. Beautiful looking day and good down the roads too. Hassle-free on the freeway from Harndorf all the way through to Glen Osmond. Northern Connector looking good. Do have works at Salisbury to keep in mind today. Lane closed there, Park Terrace and Paternoster Road. And Edwardstown Road plates in Newson South Road near Dawes Road due to waterworks. Pretty slow and pretty bumpy. Got a camera too, Bundy's Road at North Adelaide. It's Macca's 30 days, 30 deals time. Today's deal, grab a medium fries and medium shake for $3. Yes, just $3. Today only and only on the My Macca's app. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
We understand not all small businesses are the same. That's why Nissan Fleet offers tailored vehicle solutions for your unique business needs. With dedicated fleet managers available across Australia, we're your local fleet experts, providing quality advice, support and customer service for the entire life of your vehicle fleet. Visit your local Nissan dealer or search Nissan Fleet today and we'll find the right business solution for you.
I was just doing my job. I didn't think I'd get injured.
The doctor said it was a routine procedure? Right.
The car came out of nowhere and it smashed right into us.
At DBH Lawyers, we're here to listen to your story. Our team of local South Australian lawyers will help you navigate the law and find the best way forward. We're with you. We're for you. We're DBH Lawyers. dbh.com.au.
What is Louver House? Well, they're the market leader in turning your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
They're a fantastic team, Rod and the guys down there at Hendon. You'll keep the rain out with automatic sensors, and with the flick of a switch you can let the light in so you can entertain outdoors all year round. Now, Will and I have seen this for ourselves. These are made from the highest quality materials with options like LED lighting. Louver House is an SA family-owned and operated business, so everything is made right here in South Australia.
And best of all, with their leading technology, nothing is too hard for Louver House. They're also happy to come to your home and provide you with a free, no-obligation design, measure and quote. Get your outdoor area ready for summer and see the light with Louver House, louverhouse.com.au.
Shop great value gifting this Christmas at Coles. Like half-price Cadbury chocolate-covered fruit or nut, $1.90 to 340-gram jars, now just $5 each. It's the perfect stocking stuffer. That's great value, hands down, at Coles. Offer ends Tuesday.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Know someone finishing school and looking for an apprenticeship or a traineeship? Visit maxima.com.au.
12 to 7. A lot of great Duttons texts have come through in the last couple of moments about PABX. We've got a text that suggested that the hospitals rely on Optus for their PABX system. We weren't familiar with what that stood for. A lot of texters saying it's the
switchboard.
The switchboard, basically. It's how the phones operate.
Yeah, David Marion, a few others as well. Apparently it stands for Private Automatic Branch Exchange. There you go, learn something every day.
So pretty important for how, in a giant hospital, that various wings, branches and specialties and nurses' stations all communicate with one another. We will we'll follow up with SA Health and get a sense of what impact that's going to create for people that are in the hospitals or potentially awaiting some form of treatment today. Let's head to the Weather Bureau. Simon Timke joins us. The one thing that we know is working right, Simon, is the weather, because it looks like it's going to be magnificent today.
Yeah, another beautiful spring day in Adelaide. Looking at the satellite picture at the moment, like yesterday, we've had some shallow low cloud or maybe patchy fog over the eastern slopes of the Mount Lofty ranges, but mostly clear over the western side and over the Adelaide Plains. But there is a little bit of high cloud approaching from the west, so we might see a little bit of high cloud at times today, but probably not enough to stop plenty of sunshine coming through. Wind-wise today, the winds are pretty light to start off with. If there's any direction, they'd probably be east to northeasterly over the Adelaide Plains, and I think we'll see some sea breezes develop during the afternoon, turning those winds around a little bit more southwesterly. Temperatures today, we've had an overnight minimum of 9.3 degrees here in the city, currently sitting on 12.8 and expecting a maximum of 27 degrees around the suburbs, 25 degrees for Noarlunga and Glenelg, 26 for Mount Barker and 28 degrees for Elizabeth. And things warming up towards the end of the week too, and plenty of sunshine. Sunny days for Thursday and Friday, expecting a maximum of 29 for Thursday, up to 35 on Friday. Pretty hot day on the way. There is a change moving across later in the day though, so we'll have northeast to northwesterly winds during the day, and then a southwesterly change late afternoon or evening, bringing some relief from those higher temperatures. And then milder conditions through the weekend and early next week following Friday's change. Partly cloudy for Saturday, 24. Bit of morning cloud around for Sunday, but some sunshine during the afternoon, 24 degrees as well. Sunny and 25 on Monday. Then a cloudy day next Tuesday with a chance of a shower, 22 degrees, guys.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Simon.
Sounds good, apart from those northerly winds on Friday.
That's right. Let's head to SAPOL. Matt Brown joins us. Matt, a woman's been arrested after a jewellery robbery in the CBD yesterday.
That's right. Well, police were alleged that just after 5 p.m. yesterday, patrols were called to James Place after reports that a woman had entered the store and asked to see a jewellery display tray. When the staff member showed the tray to the woman, she sprayed him in the face with an unknown liquid before stealing the tray and running out of the store. The staff member ran after the woman and managed to get the jewellery back before the woman ran off, dropping the bottle of liquid and a taser. The man was later taken to hospital for treatment of minor injuries, and after further investigations by Eastern District detectives, a 42-year-old Unley woman was arrested and charged with aggravated robbery, possess a prohibited weapon and breach of bail, as she was refused bail and will appear in the Adelaide Magistrates Court today.
There's a pretty gutsy effort by the staff member getting the jewellery back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Matt, also, there has been a shed fire at Christie's Downs.
That's right, David. Just before 5 a.m. today, police and emergency services were called to Martian Street after reports of a shed fire. And fire crews quickly brought the blaze under control before it caught hold of a nearby home. However, it destroyed the shed containing 2 motorcycles and a spa. Now, fire corps investigators are attending the scene to determine the cause of the fire. Anyone who may have witnessed the incident is asked to call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
Thank you for that,
Thanks, Matt.
Senior Constable Matt Brown from SAPOL. Speaking of the emergency services, what a wonderful initiative this is. The MFS, their road awareness team, are doing a run to Melbourne, some 735 Ks to promote road safety. And we talk about this often from the perspective of the police, but it is so often our fireys that turn up first to deal with the horrors of accidents on our roads. So they know only too well, unfortunately, how awful these incidents can be. Josh Biley is from the MFS Road Awareness Team. Josh, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will and David. How are we going?
We're good, thanks, Josh. Sadly, mate, it's hard to think of a more apt time to be holding this. We were sitting in here just a couple of days ago noting that the road tolls, we're almost at 100 already for the year.
We're at 96.
96.
2023 so far, yeah.
And I think a lot of people, to Will's point, a lot of people wouldn't twig that you guys are the first responders in the same way that the police are when there's terrible crashes like this.
Yeah, it's a big issue for all emergency services, all police, fire, and ambulance, and even the country fire service, the volunteers that service the country areas as well. All too often, people think about firefighters going to fires and all that sort of stuff, but yeah, it is all too often car crashes that we're attending more often than fires most of the time as well, because it is a huge issue, especially in regional areas as well.
You're all fit blokes, fireys. I didn't know you were marathon runners though, Josh.
These guys are incredible. They're doing some really ridiculous times. So we've been running since Monday morning. We left Derrimut Fire Station on Monday morning at 9:30 SA time, and they've been running. So we just clicked over 700 Ks. We're in Harndorf at the moment, and the whole way back they've been doing sub 4 minute Ks. So we're sitting on about 3 minute 58 kilometres at the moment. So
That's outrageous.
They've been doing some incredible time.
So, Josh, you start in Melbourne. So they're all Adelaide guys. Are they all guys? Are there any women doing it too?
No, we've got some female volunteers that have helped out with the drive.
Yeah, right.
But all the runners are fireys from the MFS.
So you've gone over to Melbourne and then you're coming home the long way.
Yeah, exactly. So we drove over to Melbourne on Sunday, and the firefighters at Derrimut Fire Station put us up for the night over there, and then we started out from there on Monday morning. And it's been a pretty fantastic run across so far. We've met some wonderful people, some people who wanted to come out and see us on the side of the road and donate some money to the cause. So we started out wanting to raise $10,000 for the Professional Firefighters Foundation, who support the road awareness program, and amongst other things, they donate a lot of money to the Women's and Children's Hospital to support road trauma victims and also burns victims as well. So they were the charity that we chose to donate to, and we've surpassed that $10,000 mark, and we've nearly hit $20,000. So
that's amazing.
It's been thanks to the generosity of the South Australia public.
So where are you right now?
Right now we're heading through the main street of Harndorf.
Oh, nice.
Didn't
have to use the River Road bypass?
Yes, we went around that way. We came down...
Chopped down a few trees on your way through.
So we're currently on our way, finishing in Wakefield Street, and we're looking at probably finishing in there at about between 8 and 8:30 this morning.
Oh, that's sensational, mate.
Well, put your feet up and
get the Denker up handy. You need it.
Exactly right.
Get the Radox out.
Certainly some sore legs at the moment, but they're going to push through and get this done.
Well, that is an incredible effort. Great work. Great cause. We were saying this the other day. We report on it every day. Are people appropriately energised about the challenge of getting the road toll down? Well, the fireys are. That's superb work. Good on them. Josh Biley from the MFS Road Awareness Team.
There's an article I read yesterday, and I've saved it. I'm trying to think, is there a sensitive way of using it to write a column about the road toll? I'm not sure if there is a sensitive way of doing it for a national column that would end up being seen in Queensland. But I might be able to write it as my column for this Friday's Tiser. Youths do burnouts after crash victim Jaden Dawley's funeral. A funeral celebrant says he tried to stop burnouts after the funeral of a young crash victim by driving an empty hearse through the middle of the crowd, only to be told by the mourners to spin his wheels as well. So this is in Queensland. A 20-year-old motorcyclist has been killed in a crash on October 12. And then a few days ago, 300 people, most of them young, went to Jaden's funeral service. This was in the suburb of Branyan in Brisbane. And to pay tribute to him, because he died doing what he loved, they were all chucking burnouts. And the poor staff from Brown's Funerals, there were 300 people. This cavalcade of cars all... You think, isn't there sort of... It's like death imitating stupidity, life imitating art.
Every time we sort of rhetorically ask the question, is the message getting through?
Yeah.
If you can go to the funeral for someone involved in an accident, and the celebration is burnouts, you think the answer is pretty unequivocally no.
Yeah, completely.
5AA News coming up. Some big stories around the country and the world this morning. We'll get you up to speed with all of them next.
Rising cost of living pressures are hitting everyone, but some people more than others. If you're struggling with your home loan or credit card payments, there may be ways your bank can help, like lowering your home loan or credit card payments, restructuring the length of your loan to reduce them, moving you to interest-only payments for a while, or deferring them for a period. Don't tough it out on your own. Please, talk to your bank.
Hi, it's Peter and Justin Berkowitz from Berkowitz Furniture. Justin, I'm announcing our exceptional sale.
What's exceptional about it?
Customers save up to 25% on exceptional Norwegian brands like Stressless and IMG, and Australian brands which they can customise to their own exceptional taste. They'll save up to 25% across the store.
Is there anything that's not on sale?
Nope, no exceptions.
That's exceptional.
For a few days only at Berkowitz.
The Furniture Family.
Marland Homemaker Centre.
The Dawlis Garden Centre celebrating 63 years in business this weekend, and there's only one way to celebrate, with a massive birthday sale. 20% off outdoor furniture and barbecues, 20% off indoor plants, 20% off outdoor plants, 20% off pots, 20% off Christmas decorations, 20% off fertilisers, potting mix and garden tools. Friday to Monday, some conditions apply. The Dawlis Garden Centre's birthday sale, Main North Road, Gawler, opposite the racecourse.
The Roller Door Doctor, this is Nurse Tracy.
I need help. It's making weird noises when it goes up.
Sounds like it needs a service.
A service?
Yeah, and if it's broken, we can install a new garage door for you. At the Roller Door Doctor, we have everything you need to get it up again.
The Roller Door Doctor, helping SA get it up for over 30 years. Contact the Roller Door Doctor for garage door repairs, service and installation. therollerdoordoctor.com.au.
Online, on DAB digital radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy and 27. With the 7 o'clock news, I'm Kendall Brettig.
Chipped windscreen? Complete Windscreens can repair it from just $99. Look for the big red koala.
Optus says engineers are working to fix a nationwide fault that's knocked out mobile phone and internet services. More than 10 million people are affected. It's also impacting EFTPOS terminals. Tech expert Trevor Long says it's the biggest IT outage the country's ever seen.
Could be a major IT failure, could be a systems failure, an upgrade failure, could be a broken cable. You know, we've had cables broken before, but that would normally not affect everything. So absolutely, a cyber attack would be one of the things they'd have to be looking into.
A woman's been arrested after a jewellery store robbery in the city yesterday. Senior Constable Matt Brown says it's alleged the woman entered the store on James Place and asked to see a jewellery display tray before spraying the staff member in the face with an unknown liquid and running off.
The staff member ran after the woman and managed to get the jewellery back before the woman ran off, dropping the bottle of liquid and a taser. And after further investigations by Eastern District detectives, a 42-year-old Unley woman was arrested and charged with aggravated robbery, possess a prohibited weapon and breach of bail. Says she was refused bail and will appear in the Adelaide Magistrates Court today.
Australians are coming to terms with another interest rate increase, the Reserve Bank lifting rates to 4.35%. CoreLogic Research Director Tim Lawless says many borrowers will be forced to pull back on spending to make mortgage repayments.
A typical, say, $500,000 mortgage, another $80 a month in repayments. And that's, of course, on top of the roughly $1,100 a month we've already seen through the rate hiking cycle to date.
Detectives have now interviewed the driver involved in a deadly crash at Dalesford on the weekend. More from Gail Watson.
5 people died when a white BMW mounted the curb and struck patrons outside a Dalesford hotel on Sunday night. The driver, a 66-year-old Mount Macedon man, was also taken to hospital. Last night, Major Collision Investigation Unit detectives interviewed the man. They say he remains in the care of medical staff. At this time, he has not been charged, with inquiries to continue when he's released. A 36-year-old woman and her 6-year-old son remain in hospital in a serious but stable condition, and a 43-year-old Kyneton woman, who was also injured, is in a stable condition. A 30-year-old Cockatoo man is now out of hospital.
Well, a man will face court charged over a crash which claimed the lives of 2 teenage boys at Ashcroft in Sydney's southwest. It's alleged the 27-year-old driver had never held a licence. Australians are using cocaine and methamphetamine at their highest level in 3 years. The Criminal Intelligence Commission's released its findings to provide insight into the country's drugs market. Principal Advisor on Drugs Shane Nielsen says there are ways to reduce consumption to bring down the trend of drug use.
Law enforcement agencies assist in this process by supply reduction, so targeting the traffickers, manufacturers and importers of illicit drugs, and health sector and also the not-for-profit sector plays an important role in terms of treatment and education programs.
Australian winemakers are already in China scoping out potential markets as trade tensions between our two countries begin to ease. Beijing insists sanctions on our exports will be lifted. Taylor's Wine's Managing Director Mitchell Taylor says the news comes as a relief for the industry, which has been grappling with the crippling tariffs for years.
We're really excited about this breakthrough. There's interest in the quality of our wines, and we've actually got the Taylor's Wine international team there looking at options within the market on where we can start to build those very important relationships.
And there's a push for children to be restricted to low or no contact sport. It's part of a submission to a federal inquiry into sports-related brain trauma. The College of Pathologists says it's very concerned at the damage it's discovered in the brains of former athletes. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderall Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderall.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. An extraordinary innings from Glenn Maxwell has seen Australia record one of the greatest World Cup wins in history against Afghanistan. Chasing 292 to win, the Aussies were 7 for 91, but Maxwell and Pat Cummins put on 202 to win the game. Cummins unbeaten on 12, while Maxwell blasted 10 sixes on his way to an unbeaten 201. Making the innings even more incredible, he almost retired with severe cramping, could barely use any footwork, but he says he wanted to push through.
I haven't really done a whole lot of high-intensity exercise, I suppose, in the heat, and it certainly got a hold of me today, and just luckily enough, we came out with a plan to sort of stay at the same end for a little bit until I could sort of get some movement back, and luckily enough was able to stick it out to the end.
Amazing. Audio thanks to Nine. Well, connections of Without a Fight are still celebrating after a memorable Melbourne Cup win just weeks after also taking out the Caulfield Cup. To soccer, Newcastle faces an uphill battle to reach the knockout stages of the European Champions League after going down 2-0 to Borussia Dortmund this morning. The home side with goals in each half to secure the 3 points.
Chance here, Sabitzer across and in by Fulkrug. Dortmund's pick number 14 has his first Champions League goal for the club.
Audio there thanks to Stan Sport. Shakhtar Donetsk upset Barcelona 1-0 while in other matches that have just started, Manchester City are 1-0 up against Young Boys about half an hour in, while AC Milan and Paris Saint-Germain are all square at 1-1. And Australia faces a tough task to make it to the semi-finals of the Billie Jean King Cup after going down to Slovenia 2-1. They must now beat Kazakhstan on Thursday to have any chance. Meantime, Max Purcell has beaten Rinky Hijikata in an all-Aussie affair at the Sofia Open in Bulgaria. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Reimagine your home, elevate your life at 88 O'Connell Street Luxury Apartments. See 88o'connell.com.
G'day there, roads are looking really good for the drive-in today. The Northern Connector accident and breakdown free. Southern Expressway moving really well, which is nice. Do have works at Dry Creek to look out for. A bit sluggish there. Salisbury Highway to the Wingfield interchange off-ramp speeds at 60. And Edwards Town road plate to Newson South Road near Dawes Road due to waterworks. Pretty slow and pretty bumpy too. Cameras, Bundy's Road, North Adelaide and Clare Road at Kapunda. Worried about cheap insurance? Who offers great value cover you won't regret? Amy does. Before buying insurance issued by Amy, read the PDS and TMD at amy.com.au and consider whether it's right for you. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
When you've earned your dream bathroom, speak to Bathrooms by Design, Clovelly Park and Lonsdale.
Partly cloudy day, heading for 27. Sunny tomorrow, 29. Sunny again on Friday, up to 35. And then partly cloudy Saturday, down to 24. At the moment, 13. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Mawson Lakes Mazda's 2023 plate clearance sale is on now. Discover amazing deals across the entire range, including free on-road costs on all cars. That's right, free on-road costs across the entire Mazda range. Hurry in to find your perfect model and colour. The sooner you get to the showroom, the better your chance of scoring your dream car. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city, Salisbury Highway.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Know someone finishing school and looking for an apprenticeship or a traineeship? Visit maxima.com.au.
7:09, good morning to you if you're joining us for the first time. But what is going to be a superb Spring Adelaide day, the 8th of November today. That said, the weather will be superb. Your experience might be less than superb if you're an Optus customer waking up this morning. 10.2 million customers currently without a service. The Optus Twitter account says we're aware of an issue impacting Optus mobile and NBN services and are working to restore services as quickly as possible. We understand connectivity is important and apologise for any inconvenience caused. Well, the inconvenience is greater than just not being able to text your mates. The inconvenience is such that it's FPOS machines out for some local businesses. We've been contacted by people who work for SA Health who have said that their internal, the PABX, the internal phone service is down because it relies on Optus. In the eastern states, it's affected transport. No word of that yet, but we've tried to get in contact with some of these government partners to get a definitive sense this morning. And Luce, you found even that's been a little bit difficult.
Yes, can't get onto the Transport Department. 2 of their phone lines I've tried. Now, whether or not that's just because
the on-call numbers are Optus related, so they can't take them, or they're not in the office yet. Haven't been able to get onto Transport Department. So if anyone is listening to this from Transport, Minister Kurtzentonis, if you know if our trains are out of action, please email us rather than call, because I'm on Optus myself, so I can't take any calls.
So your phone's not working?
My phone is not working. But,
does it say SOS?
It says SOS, and said that my alarm went off at 3:15 this morning, and said it. I got a message about then, and then about 3:45 it clicked off to SOS.
Seriously?
Yes. SA Health, I've just tried to ring their numbers. I got a different response from their automatic reply, which said this number is temporarily out of action. So SA Health is definitely affected. I have just texted Minister Picton's office to see if we can get some more messaging around SA Health.
All right, that's good information, Luce. Thank you for that. If you're a business that's affected this morning, give us a buzz some way that you can. Maybe a landline. People should call us on landlines this morning if you can find one. 8223 0000 or text us on the Duttons text line, or indeed the best way we've found for Optus customers, because your home internet might be on a different provider. If you've got internet access, jump on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream.
Isn't Dodo affected too?
Yeah, there's a few subsidiaries that rely on the Optus network that are out as well. So, yes, I think we had someone from a Maysim message us a little bit earlier on the Duttons text line. There's a host that are out because of this. Now, our producer Sam Daddo has just wandered down Rundle Mall just to chat to people that are coming into the city this morning to see if he could find people that are victims of the outage at the moment.
So I'm here with Debbie in Rundle Mall. Now, Debbie, you're an Optus customer and you're affected this morning?
Yes, I am. I was supposed to be working from home this morning. I've had to come into the office. So.
What time did you find out that it was out?
When I got up this morning about 5:30.
Any communication from Optus so far? I don't think so.
No, my husband went onto the internet and found that there was an outage, so they hadn't communicated anything to us beforehand.
With Amric in the mall as well. Now, you're an Optus customer as well?
Correct, I am.
So not affecting you this morning, but it might later today?
And later when I catch a flight out, I need my phone for a boarding pass.
Well, jeez, that would be infuriating. Because so much of it, it's just not paper-based these days.
Oh,
you rely on tickets being, you just have them on your phone. You don't need to.
Well, you think about it, you go to the footy, you go to a concert. You've either got it as an SMS or you've got it as an email.
Well, you don't have it at all.
You've got a PDF. Like, everything's on your phone.
You don't have it at all if you're an Optus customer right now today. So hopefully they get this sorted out very quickly, because it's going to cause all sorts of distress, especially for people in business as well. If you are someone that works either in a department like SA Health, and give us some insight as to what's happening there, where we know there are disruptions on account of the Optus outage, or indeed other places that people are likely to interact with over the course of the day, you can provide some insight, or at very least some warning for our listeners, which is what we're trying to do at the end of the day. Give us a buzz, 8223 0000. Now, Sam's also caught up with a business in the city that relies on Optus and has some issues to deal with right now.
So I'm at James Place, Mr. Fox's espresso bar with Cheryl. Now, Cheryl, your business is with Optus. When did you find out this morning?
When I got to work and I had no internet.
What time was that?
About 5.
So about 5 o'clock. We're currently just after 7. Any communication, any idea of what will happen?
I've heard nothing except what's been on the TV.
So what do you expect for the rest of the day then?
Probably no communication, no internet.
Have you had anyone come in with cash?
A lot of people have gone and gotten cash, because obviously nobody has opened that early, and so they want to eat, so they've just gone to an ATM. But yeah, I run a lot on regular customers, so there'll probably be a lot of IOUs being paid tomorrow, provided it's back tomorrow.
That's a nice
a mountain of post-it notes and tally it all up at the end of the day. The thing too, we're not, like, businesses would no longer be attuned to dealing with cash in terms of preparing a float the way you used to.
Yeah, your float would be minimal.
At the market and at the servo when I was doing those part-time jobs in the 80s and 90s, like, you always had to make sure that you had, it's like playing Monopoly, where you start off, you got, 250s, 5 100s. Like, you need a certain suite of notes and enough coins so you can actually give people change. And even then, there's still a risk that you run out. I think these days businesses wouldn't have very big floats at all.
No,
would they?
Their floats would be absolutely tiny, I imagine.
And you can see all the banks around town. Like, how many of those places that count coins are still left? There's not many.
No.
They've been pulling them out in most places.
Banger on the Duttons text line says, trains are a go. No issue with train transport. They are hardwired. So it doesn't look like we're going to have any of the issues that they're experiencing in Victoria this morning, where there has been disruptions to the service on account of the Optus outage. Paul in Modbury Heights, though, says Adelaide Metro information boards at bus stops are not working due to the internet being down.
Yeah, right.
So the information that actually you get at the bus stop is down this morning. That's great information, Paul. Appreciate anyone that can help our listeners out this morning with other things that are being affected. 8223 0000 or flick us a Duttons text 044808 1395. 16 after 7. We'll check traffic and come back with more in just a moment. Thanks to Kieser. Are you tired of back pain? Try Kieser, KIESER.com.au.
Thanks, Will. She is looking the goods for the driving today, which is fantastic. Main North Road at Enfield are flowing well. Anzac Highway looking good as you're heading into the city. Do have works at Salisbury. Look out for lane closed near Park Terrace near Paternoster Road. And it's slow on South Road at Edwardstown, just near Dawes Road. Got road plates in use there due to waterworks. Cameras you'll find today, the Teal Highway, Kapunda and Osmond Terrace at Norwood. The sound of you enjoying a delicious barista-made coffee from OTR. Pop in and get your pick-me-up now at OTR. Making life easy. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
Treasurer Stephen Mulligan on the line. What would it mean to the budget if you had to find more money for teachers? Would you be looking to find more money as they are demanding?
It's a good question, Matthew, because on the table already, we had already put together approximately an extra $1.3 billion.
Weekday mornings from 9.
We are putting huge amounts of money on the table.
On 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
We understand not all small businesses are the same. That's why Nissan Fleet offers tailored vehicle solutions for your unique business needs. With dedicated fleet managers available across Australia, we're your local fleet experts, providing quality advice, support and customer service for the entire life of your vehicle fleet. Visit your local Nissan dealer or search Nissan Fleet today and we'll find the right business solution for you.
Over 5,500 Adelaide businesses have said yes to saving money on their energy bills with Yes, your energy saving solutions. What's keeping you? One of the easiest ways to save is by switching out your old lighting to energy efficient LEDs. An on-site assessment can help to design the perfect LED lighting system for your business. And with rebates available, a full upgrade might cost as little as $33. For T's and C's on this unbeatable offer from Your Energy Saving Solutions, go to yes.net.au. That's yes.net.au.
Now, have you heard Midkey is Australia's first no monthly payments home loan, the key to unlocking your midlife?
With Midkey, you only need to repay when you sell your property. When your home value has increased, you can access this value with a Midkey, even when your current lender can't.
So is there a catch? Well, not according to Midkey unlockers like Elizabeth from Brisbane.
Here's what Elizabeth said. She said, "We're eternally grateful to Midkey. I've made multiple loan applications before finding Midkey. We've given our daughter a step up in life. We've added to her house deposit. It's fantastic."
To find out more and to become a Midkey unlocker like Elizabeth and many others around Australia, just visit midkey.com.au today. That's midkey.com.au. Terms and conditions apply.
It's a frightening thought, but what if you lost the capacity to manage your financial affairs? If you're not at the helm, who makes medical or health decisions? Who controls the family trust? From the simplest to the most complex wills and estate plans, Donlan Lawyers will answer your questions and help carry out your wishes. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com. That's donlanlawyers.com. Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
With help from FIVEAA Milk Company and the Udder Way, cafes all over Adelaide have joined the fight to reduce plastic waste. Instead of single-use plastic bottles, they've introduced the Udder Way's reusable 18-litre kegs. In the initial week, they stand to eliminate 1,500 plastic bottles. Together with other cafes, supermarkets, schools, restaurants, hotels and workplaces, millions of single-use plastic bottles will be taken out of circulation. You gotta feel good about that. Visit fleuriomilkco.com.au for more.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Breakfast on 5AA, David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Jobs, apprenticeships, traineeships and careers. Maxima can help. Learn more today at maxima.com.au.
20 after 7, our Alberton correspondent Dave Lloyd made a fair observation. What network did Optus use to tweet their knowledge of the Optus network being out?
That is a really good point.
Is there a guy in the office with a Telstra phone?
Who shaves the barber? How do they do it?
It's an excellent question. Dave, we don't know. We will never know.
That'd be a pretty sheepish phone call, wouldn't
Yeah.
it? Maybe the Optus CEO on the it's like a sort of, protection racket for the telcos where he's ring the Telstra boss on the call and say, you couldn't do me a solid.
Do you reckon maybe they've got a red phone in the office, a bit like during the Cold War, like a
Well, like
direct
in
line?
Batman, you mean?
Oh, Batman! I was thinking
Under the glass.
I was
lid.
meaning the direct line between the Kremlin and the White House. When things got close to destruction, they could have a last minute chat.
Was that the one that Khrushchev and Kennedy were on
Yes,
together?
that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I think they've got that in Telstra and Optus.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know that, but
No,
I'm guessing
well,
that's
let's
how
run
it
with it.
works. All right, let's jump into some of the other news this morning, because internationally there's been a lot that's happened whilst you've been asleep. Been some big developments in the Middle East, because the Israeli ground offensive has advanced significantly. The Israeli government now saying that they have encircled the city of Gaza. Here is Benjamin Netanyahu.
The city of Gaza is now surrounded. We are acting within the city of Gaza. We are deepening the pressure on Hamas hourly, daily. Up to this point, we've killed so many terrorists, both on the ground and underground, amongst which great murderers who have planned and operated the murderous 7th of October. Since we started invading into Gaza, we've destroyed many headquarters, tunnels, bases, and other facilities belonging to Hamas. Hamas is now discovering that we are coming into places they never thought we will.
The Gaza Strip now effectively cut in two, with the city in the north entirely surrounded. The warning from the Israeli government has been to Palestinians to go south. He says, we will not stop. That is Benjamin Netanyahu. He also made the point there will be no ceasefire nor fuel delivery until the hostages taken by Hamas on the 7th of October are released.
Might have killed plenty of terrorists, killed plenty of civilians as well. Who knows what the numbers are?
It's killed a bit of sympathy.
We're relying on Hamas for that information. It's the Hamas run health ministry that's telling us, so they've clearly got vested interests in making it sound as bad as it possibly is. But despite that caveat, it is beyond bad. It's bloody appalling. And I think the proportionality argument is a complicated one, because when you've had an operation that's designed solely around attacking civilians and killing and kidnapping as many of them as you can, Hamas must wear so much of the blame for what happens in response. But and I know the points are made about Hamas hiding out in civilian areas and doing it deliberately and trying to maximise, even using their own people as cannon fodder for their PR cause. But with all of those provisos, I still think that the relentless and at times seemingly indiscriminate nature of Israel's response, what's the long-term effect of that going to be? I mean, they're talking now about having a permanent IDF presence in Gaza. The whole thing is basically going to end up looking like Northern Ireland, but much, much worse.
Much worse, yeah, absolutely. In the UK, we've had our first King's speech in over 70 years. Now, King Charles has spoken before publicly, but in terms of the official parliamentary role, where the monarch sits in the lower house and reads a speech written by the Prime Minister detailing the legislative agenda of the upcoming session. This is the first time we've had a king do it in a long time. The Queen was especially good at doing this in a way that never once brought into question her impartiality or neutrality on any sorts of issues. It was one of the marks of her reign. And this was King Charles' first opportunity to sit in the House and outline what the government's priorities were.
My ministers will address inflation and the drivers of low growth over demands for greater spending or borrowing. My ministers will put the security of communities and the nation ahead of the rights of those who endanger it. By taking these long-term decisions, my government will change this country and build a better future.
So, amongst the things outlined, tougher sentences for murders committed with sexual or sadistic motives, a ban on leaseholds for new houses in England and Wales, ban on smoking, restrictions on the marketing of vapes, licences for oil and gas projects, this whole sort of stuff. Some people have pointed out that a lot of what he had to announce probably runs fairly counter.
Well, certainly the oil and gas projects.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, because we never knew anything about the Queen's private views, because the Queen went into the job so young.
Yes.
That probably her political views were still sort of developing at the time. But she was immediately sort of handcuffed by the role, where what she thought about anything was kind of irrelevant anyway. Charles is the reverse.
He's had a
didn't
lifetime
get the job
of-
till his 70s, so we know that he's made comments about climate change and about Islam and all sorts of different things that jar with the agenda of the Sunak government.
That's the job.
That's right. Just got to suck it up now, you impartial head of state, you.
Time for sport. $17 schnitty Monday to Wednesday at the Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and Lighthouse Wharf. You just know it's a Barreau Hotel. So last night, Rowie asked Timmy G to pick a winner from race 10 at Morphettville, because it was meant to be a get out bet, last race of the day type thing. He said do it at the beginning of the show, and he picked this this horse, Old Time Rock. Now, that race was run whilst they were chatting with the great Mark Bosnich. Bozza, here's how it played out.
While that was all playing out, no, somebody didn't make a ton. No, the man didn't land on the moon. At the opening of the show, I said to Timmy, if you won your sweep for the Melbourne Cup, $5, $10, 20, put it all on the last race at Morphettville. And I said to Timmy, under enormous pressure,
yes,
pick me a winner, race 10, and you pick number 2, Old Time Rock.
It's Old Time Rock in front from Rock Hard. Eastside Diamond, Yolana's closing in. Bulls on Parade, then Faster. Old Time Rock has the lead. Eastside Diamond, Yolana wider out. Old Time Rock.
Timmy!
We got up.
Now,
we got up.
the $1 million question. Did you get on it?
No.
What?
Always the way. The ones you
Yeah,
don't bet on
for sure.
that come through. Always.
The idea of betting to get yourself out of trouble. I mean, you're in rule strife when you're waiting for the races to finish in Western Australia. You've got 20 bucks on the last dog running in Mandurah
That's not
or
even
something
close. It's South Africa, as you know, when you've had a long night.
Yeah.
When you're in
What
the
a
South,
mug's game.
when you're watching the South African horses, you've had a bad night.
Yeah. Who do you like in race 6 in Transvaal?
Joe Berg. Rowie and Timmy G, I think, but that one was not a get out of jail. That was a in the end actually because he won money earlier, so it was a nice way of just ending the day back at zero. I think was the philosophy behind that one.
Stick around, cheese fans. We're going to have some exciting cheese-related giveaways later on.
Cheese Fest is coming up. We got tickets for you and 3 friends. We'll be doing that a little bit later in the morning. $17 schnitty Monday to Wednesday at the Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and Lighthouse Wharf. You just know it's a Barreau Hotel.
In tough times, it's the simple things that make a big difference. Like $17 schnitzel days at Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and the Lighthouse Wharf. We know the humble schnitty can't fix all our problems, but we do know it'll put a smile on your dial. $17 schnitties Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays at Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and the Lighthouse Wharf. Making the world a better place. One schnitty at a time. Got to start somewhere. You just know it's a Barreau Hotel.
When it comes to blinds and curtains, always start with the 3 Bs. Bob Burns Blinds. They've been manufacturing blinds in Adelaide for over 60 years using the very best materials. With a keen eye for detail, innovation and style, from interior and exterior blinds to stunning shutters and curtains, including motorisation and security products, always start with the 3 Bs. Bob Burns Blinds. Visit the new showroom at 1239 South Road, St Mary's, or jump online at bobburnsblinds.com.au.
Now, a good workout leaves you breathless, but the facilities at Physio Extra, well, they're going to take your breath away.
As a registered NDIS provider specialising in helping those who live with a disability to achieve their fitness goals and rehabilitating people recovering from injury, they pride themselves on outstanding facilities, technology and equipment.
Now, across their 6 locations, there's a hydro pool, fully equipped Pilates and rehab gyms, the latest robotic technology for managing neurological conditions, and much more.
But most importantly, they have a team of passionate physios, podiatrists, massage therapists and dietitians providing tailored hands-on treatment.
And look, they've got Adelaide covered. You can find them in Norwood, on Pirie Street, in Marion, Hallett Cove, Seaford and Victor Harbour, or visit their website, physioextra.com.
How easily could you save hundreds off your energy bills?
That easy. Switch out your gas or electric hot water system for an energy-efficient heat pump with EcoVantage. Then sit back and save up to 70% on your water heating costs. And get it supplied and installed for as little as $0, thanks to government-facilitated subsidies. Yep, new hot water system from $0 that saves you hundreds. Pump your energy bills down with ecovantage.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy and 27 with the 7:30 news. I'm Kendall Brotig.
Complete windscreen supply and fit, front, rear and door glass. Proudly South Australian since 1976.
Optus is being urged to tell customers what's going on with its services and when they're likely to be restored. Around 10 million customers are unable to make calls or use the internet. The outage is also affecting businesses, transport networks and hospitals. Federal Communications Minister Michelle Rowland says Optus needs to get on the front foot.
It appears to be a deep and significant network problem, but it is important, exactly as you say, that Optus get to the bottom of it and communicate it with customers, because it has been a very frustrating morning for many Australian consumers and businesses so far, and there is certainly a hunger for information.
Rachel says it's affecting her employees who can't log on to their work computers.
I work in legal, and so many of my professionals, their phone is used to get verification codes to log into, say, the tax office, the PEX online conveyancing portal, and without those verification codes, they're not able to continue to work.
A woman's been arrested after a brazen robbery at a jewellery store in the city yesterday. It's alleged she asked to see a tray of jewellery at the James Place shop before pepper spraying the staff member and running off with it. The man chased her and managed to get the jewellery back. After further investigations, a 42-year-old Unley woman was arrested and charged with aggravated robbery, possessing a prohibited weapon and breach of bail. She'll appear in court today. Mortgage holders have been dealt more pain after the Reserve Bank increased interest rates yesterday. The official cash rates climbed 0.25% and now sits at 4.35%. It's the 13th rate hike since May last year, and some economists believe rates could rise again next month. A man will face court charged over a crash which claimed the lives of 2 teenage boys at Ashcroft in Sydney's southwest. Jack Hahn reports.
Nicholas Thu, accused of being behind the wheel of the Ford sedan that smashed into a power pole, killing 2 boys, has been formally charged by police. The 27-year-old is facing a long list of charges, including 2 counts of aggravated dangerous driving, occasioning death, speed over 45 kilometres an hour, along with fail to stop and assist. Police will also allege in court that Mr. Thu never held a licence.
And detectives have interviewed the driver involved in a crash at Daylesford in Victoria, but no charges have yet been laid. The 66-year-old man remains in the care of medical staff. Police say their inquiries will continue after his eventual release from care. Israel says its grip on Gaza City is tightening. The Defence Force says its military's encircled the city, trapping the leader of Hamas in his bunker. It claims 14,000 terror targets and 100 tunnel shafts have been destroyed in the past month. The Prime Minister's en route to the Pacific Islands Forum after wrapping up what's been described as a successful trip to China. Tariffs on wine and red meat exports are tipped to be lifted as a result. Global security expert Professor Greg Barton says the relationship between our two countries appears to be on the mend.
What we're looking at here is a very sensible long-term play on Australia's part to address underlying trust and relationships. The fact that the reference was made to getting back to annual leaders' meeting suggests that their goal of seeking stability has, at least for the time being, been achieved.
And the federal government's a step closer to imposing content quotas on major streaming platforms. A new paper shows 2 models are being proposed to ensure Netflix, Stan, Amazon and Disney spend a certain amount on local productions. 2 possible models of regulation are being presented to the streaming giants. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderroll Garage Doors' new Platinum and Native Series sectional doors are here. Gliderroll.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Well, Glenn Maxwell's Australian teammates are describing his heroic knock against Afghanistan as the best one-day innings of all time. The big show built in at unbeaten 201 from only 128 balls to drag Australia to a 3-wicket win over Afghanistan. At one point, Australia was still 200 runs short with just 3 wickets in hand. Captain Pat Cummins watched the innings from the bowler's end and says he just had to survive to keep Maxwell in the middle.
It's just like, it looks so easy. I'm up the other end and I don't see any gaps in the field. I don't see where I'm going to score a boundary, and then it seems like every time he hits his bat, he just runs away for 4.
Amazing. Meantime, South Australia will be hunting plenty of wickets early on day 3 of its Shield clash against Queensland at the Gabba. Nathan McSweeney and Henry Hunt both made centuries as the Redbacks declared their first innings at 5 for 359. In reply, the Bulls reached 1 for 82 at stumps on day 2. Well, Mark Zara's continuing his celebrations this morning after winning the Melbourne Cup on without a fight. It was the champion jockey's second Cup win after guiding Gold Trip last year, and he's told today he's still pinching himself.
It hasn't sunk in quite yet, but I was pretty happy to win one last year, but to go back to back, I'm sure in the next couple of days it's going to sink in. It's going to feel all right.
To soccer, Manchester City's now 2-0 up against Young Boys in the Champions League.
Trying to get beyond camera, and he has done, and he scored. Brilliant stuff from Phil Foden.
Audio thanks to Stan Sport. It's 2-0 at half-time. Earlier, Newcastle lost to Borussia Dortmund 2-0. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
Reimagine your home, elevate your life at 88 O'Connell Street Luxury Apartments. See 88o'connell.com.
Good morning. Roads working really well for the driver today. Main North Road at Enfield flowing well. Anzac Highway looking good as you're heading into the city. Do have a lane closed at Salisbury this morning. Park Terrace near Paternoster Road. Speeds at 25. And we are slow for works at Edwardstown. Road plates in use there on South Road near Dawes Road. It's due to waterworks. Pretty slow and pretty bumpy. Got a camera 2, Clare Road at Kapunda. Captain Marvel returns in a blockbuster superhero team-up you can't miss on the big screen. Marvel Studios' The Marvels in cinemas November 9. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
When you've earned your dream bathroom, speak to Bathrooms by Design, Clovelly Park and Lonsdale.
Partly cloudy and 27, sunny tomorrow 29, up to 35 on Friday, and then partly cloudy Saturday down to 24. At the moment 14. More news as it happens on 5AA.
From SA Health about the impacts of that. And we received this statement just a moment ago. Health is aware of Optus issues and working through them. Importantly, it doesn't appear to be impacting incoming 000 calls, so people can still ring 000 in an emergency. That's good news. What it means for operations inside hospitals, though, we don't have further information on. If you work inside, you can anonymously call us and text us and let us know, if you're capable, because if you have an Optus phone, you, of course, won't be able to. You've got some info on the transport system.
Yeah, we've heard from the Office of the Transport Minister, Tom Cootes and Toners. Cootes' people have told us they're aware that people have been discussing it on our show. The good news is that no public transport impact has been reported. The only issue they're aware of at this stage is that incoming comms to the Traffic Management Centre's 1800 number have been affected, but they've got a backup plan with external communications through the government network, meaning that operations are unaffected, which is good news. So
Already heard from a business on the program this morning that's having to do IOUs today, or some people having to go and get cash from an ATM to, if they want to go there. That's probably not an option for every single business, but if you're one that's affected, we would love to hear from you as well on 8223 0000. As to further information, well, just a moment ago on Sunrise, cybersecurity expert Elliot Delis was interviewed.
This is definitely on the severe end of the spectrum, so they're going to be aiming to get services back up within hours, but it really just depends on what the extent of the incident is. If, for example, backup systems have been affected or reserve power supplies, it might take a bit longer.
What about hacking? I mean, this is a problem, isn't it, for any big business, especially telcos. Optus, we know last year it happened to them. Could this be a hack?
Potentially, it could be. Ransomware attacks can knock over systems like telco systems. It is unlikely. Optus is obviously going to be on very high alert, but after the last couple of years, I wouldn't say anything's out of the question.
Communication, obviously, for everybody, including Optus, is a problem, but they're taking a very long time to put a statement out there, a detailed statement as to exactly what's happening. Should they get on the front foot with this?
I imagine they've got an entire team dedicated to doing exactly that right now. They'd be leveraging automated systems, manual systems that have incident response plans, that have teams trained to do this. The problem is saying something too early, you might actually mislead your customers. So I would be highly surprised if we don't see something within the next couple of hours giving some sort of indication of what exactly has happened here.
They've said, well, 3/4 of stuff all at the moment. It's one tweet that basically says they understand there's a problem and they know it's inconveniencing people. This has been an outage now this is 4 hours long. Now, obviously, 3:30 a.m. around the country is not the biggest thing, but they would have known very early in the piece that something is amiss.
Brett makes a good point on the Dutton's text line. The question has to be asked, is going cashless necessarily a wise choice? All it takes to cripple a country is not a nuclear bomb, but a simple cyber attack. It is weird. I mean, you think about it. Like, imagine if they wiped the big four banks, if all your internet records could be obliterated, how would you know how much money you've got in your offset account? How would you know how much you've paid off your house?
I don't know.
Is there a hard copy backup version of how much money you've paid off your house?
I would guess they would host the data in so many different places it would be impossible for it to be all totally destroyed. It's not like it's all just sitting in someone's laptop on the ground floor of the Westpac building. It's hosted on computers in North
But what if you could take out the cloud?
Yeah, but the cloud, it would be hosted on simultaneously in North America, Russia, France. Like this, it exists everywhere all at once. I would assume it would be almost impossible to have that information.
Almost impossible.
Yeah, but nothing is impossible.
That's right. I mean,
if it was hard copies, it could
that would be the holy
destroyed in a fire.
grail, wouldn't it? The target.
Oh yeah, if you wanted to make the world just go Fight Club style, that would be it.
And as we were saying before, like these days when you travel interstate, overseas, you've got everything on your phone. You've got it all through Booking.com or Expedia. You know, everything's a PDF attachment on an email that's buried, months ago when you booked your tickets. Do people print that out? I think the lesson is maybe you should.
Have a hard copy of it. Yeah, absolutely. Now, do you have, in simpler times, we reflect with cheese. Do you have a cheese?
I have a cheese, Will.
Do you have a cheese?
I have a cheese.
Okay, you have a cheese.
I have a cheese.
Profound moments in broadcasting. All right, we've got cheese.
And it's a very old-fashioned cheese.
We've got Cheese Fest tickets.
It's really old. It was like a lot of good things in cooking, it was invented by mistake.
The most snackable weekend in SA, November 18 and 19 in Rundle Park. Get your tickets from cheesefest.com.au. Tickets for you and 3 friends to get along on Saturday. Get calling right now on 8223 0055. Should we take the calls before the break, Luce, or do you want to come back with them? We'll do them right here. Okay.
Hop to it.
What cheese am I? I have a cheese. We've got John Blake coming up before the end of the hour as well, and we've given him absolutely nothing to work with yet again this morning.
You reckon?
After 8 o'clock today, David Koch will join us on the program. Looking forward to chatting with Koshy. We'll put the interest rates question to him.
I wonder if the federal government, I wonder if Philip Lowe woke up this morning going, I wonder if the government's wondering why they sacked me now. Because what's changed?
Oh, are you suggesting that hiring someone to replace him that had been working with him for the last 30 years and had only ever worked at the Reserve Bank wasn't the dramatic change that it was made out to be?
Yeah. Well, what's the difference?
Nothing's the difference.
I suppose that
was shot the messenger.
He had to go because he said none of it was going to happen.
Her message is, that's right. Her message is even sterner than his.
Yeah, no, she's no fun.
No, she's forecasting very difficult times ahead.
In her defence, though, she would say, this is, we shouldn't say she is the cat's mother, as my grandmother would say, God rest her soul, Granny Fitz. Mrs. Bullock, Michelle Bullock, she would say, well, if you think this is hard, how do you like the look of hyperinflation?
Good piece, I think, in the Tiser, though, this morning that raises a legitimate question mark about raising rates to control inflation when the biggest driver right now is not something that's within the purview of Australian consumers to impact. Petrol prices.
Yeah, completely.
So if it was because we're all buying too many TVs and restaurant dinners and fridges...
Living high on the hog.
And that was driving up inflation, you put up rates and people will stop doing those things.
You can't stop buying petrol.
You can't stop buying petrol, and Saudi Arabia doesn't care if we all start driving slightly less. It's not going to lower the cost of fuel. We're not a big enough consumer to impact that. I think it was a legitimate point that was made. All right, that's enough seriousness. Let's talk cheese. Stephanie, good morning.
Good morning.
Are you a cheese fan, Steph?
I do love cheese.
All right. Well, I hope
Thought I'd give this a go.
I hope you know this one. Now I have 3 clues. As with yesterday's cheese, which was Stilton, I am also a blue cheese. Wait till the end to answer as well, because the clues get easier as they go on. I was illegal for a long time in Australia because I am unpasteurised, causing the risk of listeria, especially for pregnant women. And the final clue, I am French, and I am the key ingredient in the salad that bears my name.
Oh, my God. I was going to say Rockford.
Well, you would have been right, so say it.
Stephanie, you are off to Cheese Fest.
Is that technically a giveaway, what I just did?
Well, yes, it is, actually. There's no other way of sugarcoating it.
I thought I'd cut Stephanie off in case she didn't say Rockford. Because she was right.
If the criteria is you need to have said the right answer in any context.
But who wants to be the
clues?
flint-hearted sod who says to Stephanie, I was going to say Rockford, but now I'm going to say Gorgonzola?
David, you have been captured by the Participation Award Society. I don't know what happened.
No,
it used to be about exceptionalism.
We're not keeping a score and everyone's a winner.
Stephanie, though, you are a winner. You're off to Cheese Fest this Saturday, the most snackable weekend in SA, November 18 and 19. In fact, it's next. It's the following weekend. 18 and 19 Ronald Park. Get your tickets from cheesefest.com.au.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, let's check traffic thanks to Keezer. You tired of back pain? Try Keezer, KIESER.com.au.
Thanks, Will. Really good run on the roads today. The freeways working well from Bridgewater through to Glen Osmond. Main North Road Enfield also looking the goods. Do have a lane closed at Salisbury, which is a bit slow at the moment. Park Terrace near Paternoster Row. And Edwardstown slow for road plates in use there. South Road near Dawes Road. That's due to Waterworks and pretty bumpy through there as well. Cameras Hallett Road, Stonyfell and Horrocks Highway at Roseworthy. Look for the RAA sign at over 400 independent RAA approved repairers across SA. You know you can trust them because RAA do. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Don't just get a forklift, get a Toyota forklift. Right now, Toyota Material Handling is having a massive clear out of 2022 and 23 plated forklifts. Score great deals across a selected range of new Toyota forklifts currently in stock. Counterbalance and reach forklifts, walkie stackers and more. So if it's 22 or 23 plated, get a great Toyota forklift deal. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au. Get a Toyota forklift. T's and C's apply. Offer ends December 31.
Energy providers are still emptying your wallet, but the good news is that now it's cheaper to generate your own electricity using solar and batteries. NRG Solar's expertise can guide you to owning your energy sooner. As a trusted retailer, they provide you with top-tier solar battery technology, complete with a 10-year warranty, blackout protection, and user-friendly apps for ultimate control. Fight back with NRG Solar and take charge of your electricity. Visit nrgsolar.com.au today.
The Earl of Leicester is not your ordinary pub. It's got all your favourite Aussie pub classics on the menu, but they do like a British twist.
You know, straight after the show today, Will, I'm going to the Earl of Leicester to do an interview with the owners. I'm looking forward to that. I've been going there for years, and now it's become an ad. What about that? The Earl's Chicken Schnitzel. It's bigger than Big Ben. Anyone who's tried it will know it's a daunting task. It's a not-so-ordinary 600-gram plate hanger of a thing, a schnitty that is not for the faint of heart. Once you start, you need to keep calm and carry on.
Nestled in the cosy suburb of Parkside, just south of the CBD, this iconic establishment has been a beloved destination for locals and visitors alike since its founding in 1886.
It is one of the most beautiful old pubs in Adelaide, and the menu, second to none. The schnitzels, they're famous for them, but they've got so many other things. A lot of good traditional things. Corned beef, the ploughman's lunch. I've tried a lot of it. The Earl has a strong focus on local, with the vast majority of their beer, wine and spirit offerings coming from within SA. Also check out their wall of beer. The Earl of Leicester, Parkside, a great SA pub, but still a little bit British.
Some builders think a sloping block has limitations. When Beechwood Homes look at a sloping block, they think, the possibilities. Beechwood Homes know how to make the most of a sloping block. In fact, they specialise in them. Beechwood will design a home that works with the land you have, taking full advantage of every square metre. So if you're looking at a sloping block, go for it. Beechwood has your back. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. Google Beechwood Adelaide.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. For fixed price services, call Precise.
For a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Know someone finishing school and looking for an apprenticeship or a traineeship? Visit maxima.com.au.
9 to 8, John Blake coming up in a moment. David Koch after 8 o'clock. Breaking 8 as well will feature chat with the Assistant Police Commissioner, Linda Williams, with regard to a pretty disturbing incident about which details are, well, they're difficult to report because they're very limited in the scope and what we can actually say about it. But what we do know is it involves an incident where 2 police officers were stood down following the tasering of a man at a care home. We will we'll explore that further after 8 o'clock this morning. Yesterday we were talking about the Melbourne Cup, wondering about where it's at in terms of its popularity. Has it lost any of its lustre? Is it still the mighty advertising event it has been in the past, the race that stops the nation? Nick Hayes from Media Stable joins us on 5AA Breakfast. Nick, good morning to you. Is the Melbourne Cup still what it was and what it has been in an advertising sense?
Good morning, Will. Good morning, David. I don't know if it's the race that stops a nation any longer. I think it's a race that pauses a nation. We're in a position now where it used to be an absolute juggernaut, an equivalent to, I guess, the Super Bowl, if you like, in US terms. But it just doesn't have the shine that it has. And I think it has been, partly due to COVID, partly due to the fact that animal liberationists and also to questioning about the sport of kings is whether this is actually a race that we should all be supporting. But I got a feeling yesterday, boys, that the crowds are coming back. The viewers are starting to come back, and it looks like it might be on the return.
It's probably quite a different thing in Melbourne because of their experience of lockdown as well, Nick, where people were sort of incarcerated for so long over there in Victoria that any public event now is seen with a sort of a giddier sense of excitement than it is here in Adelaide, where we coasted through COVID by comparison.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, David. I think that the one thing, they got a crowd of 85,000 on the track. The numbers, I believe, and they're still coming through, I think that the rating system might be on Optus. So hence we're struggling to get the actual numbers right now. But we believe that they have been boosted and they are going in the right direction. And this is Channel 10's last go at it. Channel 9 takes over. Channel 7, funnily enough, didn't go for it, and they pretty much own racing in Australia 51 weeks of the year. But to not have the actual big spring carnival, the actual race itself, it's a bit like the AFL, a television station having all of the games, all the home and away games, but missing out on the grand final. And that was a bit of a worry there for 10 as well, because Channel 7 was broadcasting races at Randwick and around the country, and a lot of confused punters or confused once-a-year race enthusiasts were all on Channel 7 and not on Channel 10, so that could affect the numbers as well.
Yeah, then ended up accidentally watching some replay of an Ian Hewitson cooking show.
Indeed, or some old Hogan's Heroes. But the thing is, at the end of the day, look, 7 does tend to own it, but they didn't go for the rights for it for next year. It does get handed over to Channel 9. And the real interesting one, I was listening to you boys when you were interviewing Eddie Maguire. Eddie was the host, and to go over from 9 to 10 and returning back to 9, this will be interesting as to whether Eddie actually is the right host for it, because, let's face it, he's no Bruce McAvaney.
Yeah, well, it's hard to make the transition when you've been synonymous with one code like he has, I guess. But there was a bit of chat on social media, a lot of probably by people whose default position is to bag Eddie, regardless of what Eddie's doing. But no, Nick, we always love having you on, mate, for the great sort of media insider analysis that you provide. Nick Hayes there, the Media Stable Managing Director on yesterday's Melbourne Cup.
Lucy just said she ended up watching 7 for 15 minutes, thinking I'll put the race on. Missed the race.
I don't understand the idea of televised racing as a sporting spectacle. I thought the whole point of just having it on television was like if you know, at the sidebar at the Goodie with your mates once a year, put a line through the afternoon. Well, some people seem to do it more than once a year there, but, you know, that's by the by. It's, now with the TAB, you just sort of... I don't want to watch fashions. I don't want to hear people being interviewed. You just want to know if your horse is winning or not.
Lots of people do. There's a big audience for horse racing.
There must be enough.
Yeah, there's lots of people that just like that. They like the colour of the horse racing, you know, that don't get bet on it at all.
Forget the colour of the horse racing. What about the colour of this Smeg mixer?
Give us the tea, Adelaide.
Fire truck red. That's a magnificent piece of engineering. Hey, if you got a rumour for us, 8223 is the number to get calling right now. You can remain entirely anonymous. Rumours big or small, doesn't matter. Down your street or bring down the government. Whatever it might well be, you can win yourself a Smeg mixer.
It's a thing of beauty.
Certainly is. We'll start taking your calls and
be handy going
that
into
by
Christmas.
9 o'clock. Very handy.
Cost
Cost of living.
You're making custard or something for your trifle.
Oh, there you go.
You know, beating some egg whites for your pavlova.
You're halfway there. All right, it's time for John Black. Thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight, distribution, warehousing, and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
Now, the latest news with Wallace Fogg. Good morning, early risers. This is Wallace Fogg with another 5AA News update. The decision to allow defendants in South Australian courts to choose their own gender pronouns has been trashed by J.K. Rowling. She wrote the Harry Potter books. In her original tweet, she posted a picture of a man with the caption, South Australian Attorney General Kaya Ma. The only trouble being that the man in the photo is not Kaya Ma unless he's suddenly aged 20 years, grown a bigger nose, gone grey and lost half his hair. Turns out it was a photo of South Australian Chief Justice Chris Caracas, who some are now saying perhaps he identifies as Attorney General Kaya Ma. In other news, the Adelaide City Council has been roundly criticised. Wait, that can't be right, surely. Little Wallace Fogg sarcasm there. I think it was Oscar Wilde who said, sarcasm is the finest form of wit if you want to get the message across that the entity you're talking about is a complete disgrace and needs to be sacked by the state government. The Adelaide City Council has been roundly criticised for its pathetic attempt to decorate the city for Christmas. The so-called decorations are so lacklustre that far from offending people from other cultures and beliefs, they're liable to make them think there's no celebration of any kind going on in Adelaide. City Councillor David Elliott said, when decorating the city, we've gone for something that is simplistic. Which is coincidental because a lot of people are saying that the Adelaide City Council is made up of simplistic people. And finally, the teachers' strike plan for Thursday has made Premier Peter Malinauskas really mad. To treat our children like this is outrageous, especially with Year 12 exams starting on Thursday. Children around the state who aren't doing exams have clearly said, this is deplorable to treat us like this. We deserve an education. So, what do we do on Thursday? Go to the beach, Rundle Mall, watch TV, eat chips? And that's the news for this Wednesday. I'm Wallace Fogg. More 5AA News coming up at 8 o'clock, or as close as we can get.
The Chief Justice gag and Kaya Ma. It wasn't the Tiser, it was the Australians website that stuffed that up in the first place. But the how'd you be being the Chief Justice? You're coming to work this Monday thinking, oh, it's going to be another quiet week in the heading up the Courts Administration Authority here in Adelaide, and suddenly you're in an international slanging match with a woman who wrote the Harry Potter books. I don't think His Honour would have seen that one coming.
I don't think so. 8:08, 5AA News is coming up. Deputy Police Commissioner Linda Williams will join us on the program next.
The Dawlish Garden Centre celebrating 63 years in business this weekend, and there's only one way to celebrate, with a massive birthday sale. 20% off outdoor furniture and barbecues, 20% off indoor plants, 20% off outdoor plants, 20% off pots, 20% off Christmas decorations, 20% off fertilisers, potting mix and garden tools. Friday to Monday, some conditions apply. The Dawlish Garden Centre's birthday sale. Main North Road, Gawler, opposite the racecourse.
Hello. Frank Walker from National Tiles. Right now it's raining free tiles at National Tiles. Yes, and an absolute first at National Tiles, we're giving away free tiles. Buy 3 metres of any tiles in our entire European range and we'll give you 1 extra metre absolutely free. There's no catches and no exceptions, but you'll have to be quick. So for your free tiles, rush into National Tiles now or go online before it's too late. Conditions apply.
At SEW Eurodrive Australia, our unparalleled service is one of our core values. We understand that things don't just go wrong between 9 and 5, so we offer a full range of service and repairs for our complete product portfolio. Even in the most unlikely times, our 24-hour emergency breakdown service is available 365 days a year. Visit sew-eurodrive.com.au. SEW Eurodrive, driving Australian industry since 1982.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy and 27 with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Chipped windscreen? Complete Windscreens can repair it from just $99. Look for the big red koala.
Businesses hit by a major Optus outage are working to get in touch with their customers. More than 10 million users are unable to use the internet or make calls from their mobile phones. The outage is also affecting brands which use the Optus network, like Dodo and Aussie Broadband, as well as EFTPOS terminals. Sam runs a cafe and says his terminal won't connect.
I'm trying to connect my EFTPOS terminals up. No luck because I've got an Optus modem in the shop. And I'm trying to call my bank and the phone's saying that the lines are congested.
Business owner Kylie says she's had no communication from the telco regarding the service issue.
Not an email, not an SMS, nothing. We're just going to have to wait it out. I don't think there's much we can do. We've got access to internet at home, so we put some messaging up on our socials to say that we don't have access to the phone line today or to the SMSs, so hopefully it gets resolved quickly.
Optus says it's aware of the problem and is working to restore services as quickly as possible. An estimated 1.5 million homeowners will struggle to make their next mortgage repayment as the cash rate climbs to its highest level in 12 years. The Reserve Bank has raised rates another 0.25%. New Dad James Bradbury says it's a stressful time for mortgage holders.
After 13 increases, it certainly makes you feel the full effect of these things, and yesterday's increases is actually just the equivalent of a full day's daycare. Yeah, definitely feeling the effect.
A 42-year-old Unley woman's been arrested accused of stealing jewellery from a city shop yesterday. Senior Constable Matt Brown says she allegedly entered Classic Jewellers in James Place and asked to see a tray of gold.
When the staff member showed the tray to the woman, she sprayed him in the face with an unknown liquid before stealing the tray and running out of the store. The staff member ran after the woman and managed to get the jewellery back before the woman ran off, dropping the bottle of liquid and a taser. The man was later taken to hospital for treatment of minor injuries.
The woman was arrested overnight and will face court today. Year 12s are being assured the teachers' strike won't impact on their exam timetable. Mel Usher has details.
Teachers in our public schools will walk off the job tomorrow, but that's when 2 Year 12 exams are scheduled, physics and accounting. Students are being told even if their school is one of the almost 200 that will shut up shop for the day, they'll still be able to sit the exams on school grounds.
They've put arrangements in place so there is no disruption there.
Education Minister Blair Boyer. Over 200 schools will offer a modified program and around 550 sites will either open as normal or had already declared Thursday a pupil-free day. All the details are on the Education Department's website.
Detectives have interviewed the driver involved in the weekend's horror crash at Dalesford. 5 people died when his car mounted the curb and struck patrons outside the local pub. The driver, a 66-year-old man, was taken to hospital. He's now been interviewed, but at this time no charges have been laid. While the families of 2 teenage boys who were left for dead in an horrific car crash in Sydney's southwest say they're still in shock and trying to come to terms with the loss. The driver, who allegedly has never held a licence, will appear in court today. A man armed with a gun has been arrested near the US Capitol in Washington, sending the area into lockdown. US correspondent Jonathan Kersley reports.
Capitol Police say the man was found in a park near the Senate offices, and a search of his belongings uncovered an AR-15 style rifle. The man was detained at the scene and taken into custody. Investigators say they do not have reason to believe there is any ongoing threat. Some of the streets surrounding the US Capitol in Washington, D.C. were closed off as police carried out their investigations.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderall Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderall.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Australian all-rounder Glenn Maxwell has single-handedly thrust his country into the World Cup semi-finals after a stunning double century against Afghanistan. Chasing 292 to win, the Aussies were in all sorts at 7 for 91, but Maxwell produced an out-of-this-world innings with 21 fours and 10 sixes, finishing unbeaten on 201 as Australia won with 19 balls to spare. The 35-year-old did have some luck along the way, surviving a close LBW call when facing a hat-trick ball and was dropped a couple of times. Regardless, he was understandably thrilled with his innings.
Yeah, look, it would have been nice if it was chanceless, but I certainly had my chances. I led a charmed life out there. I was very lucky and I suppose just made the most of that. I feel like I've had those types of innings before where I've given a chance and I haven't made the most of it. So to make the most of it and go on with it tonight is probably the most pleasing thing.
Unbelievable. Let's stick with cricket, and Queensland will resume at 1 for 82 on day 3 of its Shield clash against South Australia at the Gabba. That's in reply to the Redbacks' first innings total of 5 for 359 declared. Well, Mark Zahra says he's yet to sleep following a night of celebrations after Without a Fight's Melbourne Cup win. In tennis, Australia has gone down to Slovenia in its opening match at the Billie Jean King Cup finals. Meantime, Max Purcell and Chris O'Connell are both through to the round of 16 at the Sofia Open in Bulgaria. Manchester City is now 3-0 up against Young Boys in their Champions League clash with about 15 minutes to play. And Josh Giddey's Oklahoma City Thunder have improved their record to 4-3 to start the season after a hard-fought 9-point win against Atlanta. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the weather, partly cloudy and 27 today, sunny tomorrow 29, sunny on Friday 35 and partly cloudy for Saturday 24. At the moment 16. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Know someone finishing school and looking for an apprenticeship or a traineeship? Visit maxima.com.au.
7 after 8, David Kosh shortly. Talk interest rates with Koshy. And also, first chance to chat with him since Port Adelaide's charge out of the Sandful. Also, we're entering the 4th hour now where Optus has 10.2 million customers around the country, almost collectively waiting on hold. Well, that's what it feels like. The only statement they've put out was via Twitter. It contained no information, some condolences for, the difficulties that everybody's facing. But no information yet. We don't know if this is because of a hack, because of some sort of infrastructure problem. There's literally no information yet. The first time that there were complaints registered about the network being down was about 3:30 this morning. So we're nearly 5 hours now. In the eastern states, it's 8:30. Businesses are up and running.
Well, it suggests they don't know what's caused it.
Feels that way.
And to the question we asked earlier, glitch or hack, what's behind it?
We still don't know. As soon as we do, we'll let you know. We're going to chat with an expert after 8:30, though, and try to see what we can glean from the little information we do have. What we do know is that there are impacts for the internal phone network at SA Health. They're working on those. That said, 000 is still working. And you'll see reports in national news sources that there's public transport issues on the eastern seaboard. They don't exist here. We checked with the Transport Department a little bit earlier, and there's no such concerns here. If there are things, though, that are out as a result of the Optus outage, do let us know. We want to get as many listeners across the issues, be that your local coffee shop or indeed the signboards for the buses that some people have said aren't operating correctly. Do let us know. 8223 0000 or text us on the Duttons text line.
Well, a big story broke late yesterday, and it came as quite a surprise when SAPOL revealed that 2 police officers have been stood down, with an inquiry being launched after a disabled man in his 60s was tasered and also pepper sprayed at a residential care home in Adelaide South. Now, the 2 police are facing potentially serious consequences from this, at the very least disciplinary punishment or possibly even criminal charges. We're not prejudging anything. But our next guest who joins us for Breaking at 8 is in the unique position of having actually seen the body-worn camera footage from the two officers. Deputy Commissioner Linda Williams joins us now. Deputy Commissioner, thank you so much for your time. We know that you are limited in the scope of what you can say, as indeed are we limited in the scope of what we can report. But firstly, the decision by your boss, Grant Stevens, the Commissioner, to make this public, he wasn't actually required to do that, was he? Do you know, what? Can you take us inside the rationale behind making it public that this has all allegedly occurred?
Good morning, Dave. And thanks for the opportunity to clarify some of these questions. And firstly, can I say I am limited in what I can say, but what when we viewed the video, we took the view that it was likely to have an adverse effect on trust and confidence in the community just if people saw the video on its own, especially because SAPOL do, on many occasions, deal with vulnerable members of the community. And having reviewed it, there were some concerns over what the actions of the police officers, and that's why we've initiated a Commissioner's inquiry. But I caution, as I said yesterday in the media, that you only see part of the incident, and we have to have a full understanding of what led up to this, why, in fact, police were called, what they were told, what was their understanding, why they have responded the way they did. All of that has to be the subject of the investigation. But on the face of it, we took the action that a Commissioner's inquiry was required and that we'd make a public statement.
In terms of the altercation itself, are you at liberty to describe the nature of the altercation, or is that something that could be prejudicial?
That is something that could be prejudicial. So I'd like to let both the criminal and the conduct investigation run their course with as much lack of bias and in that process as it should be correctly afforded.
I know they're discrete incidents too. Obviously, the conduct of New South Wales Police has got no bearing whatsoever on this case, but was part of the thinking in making it public that you didn't want to run the risk of looking like you were covering up something, given what happened in Cooma with the elderly woman there?
What I would say is, at this point, I wouldn't like to compare the incidents because we still have to have a full investigation until the facts are known. But it did inform us of the nature of the public concern about vulnerable people in care facilities when they have an interaction with police and force is used, and I can understand public concern and sentiment about that.
So the ban on broadcasting the video was about the fact that it didn't tell the full story. Why is there a ban too then on speaking to witnesses who were there for the full story?
Because those witnesses are part of the investigation, Will, and that's really important, that there's no inference that because they get questioned in one occasion and they get questioned on another, that there's maybe different people might perceive different variations on their story. They should be allowed to tell it once in a thorough way as part of the investigation process.
But that's clearly a law that only applies because we've got police officers involved. Witnesses tell their story about car crashes and things all the time, don't they?
Yep. They do, but this is also because not only do we have the criminal investigation, but we do have a conduct investigation, and a complaint was made to the Office of Public Integrity. So it does fall within the purview of the Police Complaints and Discipline Act, and therefore there are two sections, as you're probably aware of, sections 45 and 46, which limit disclosure and publication to a certain extent, but allows the Commissioner and obviously the Office of Public Integrity to make things public, which on this occasion, there has been a level of information that has been made public because it is deemed that there is certainly, this is in the public interest to be given reassurance that there is, significant investigation into both criminal and conduct because of the allegations that have been made.
But why do police get special treatment when members of the public, had they been involved in something that drew potentially criminal consequences, wouldn't?
Because this is also dealing with police officers in terms of whether there is a breach of conduct. And conduct is the internal process that looks at the behaviour of police officers. Like any employer, government employer, private employer, has a code of conduct that you as an employer deal with your employees in regards to whether there has been some conduct that would not meet the standard, and therefore does it require something like a focus on correction, education, guidance, retraining, or is it leaning more towards, a more punitive or sanctioned option of a fine or ultimately to termination, and they are employment laws, and they're generally not made public in any industry, just as a matter of course, and the police are no different.
So in what circumstances and at what point would the vision that's in the public, it's already been broadcast, I understand, in a number of places, and the witnesses to this be able to speak publicly?
So if there are, and I say this cautiously, if the matter does end up in criminal charges, then it goes into the normal system of the courts, and the courts can have obviously rules around what they say can be released, what can be suppressed, what can't be suppressed, and then they take that into account in terms of how that sits with police complaints and discipline act. That is for them to deal with. Then if it does end up as a discipline matter, the Commissioner and the Office of Public Integrity can make a determination as to whether they make a statement about the outcome of a discipline inquiry at a point in time. Clearly, we're too early into any of those processes now to know what that will mean, but there'll be live considerations as we go forward about whether any further statements are made into the future.
And just finally, Deputy Commissioner, I mean, they haven't been found guilty of anything yet. Are the two police stood down on full pay?
So let me just clarify. We were quite clear that they'd been removed from operational duties. They haven't been suspended, and they haven't been sent home from work. They are still in the workplace, but they're just not operational in the terms of having public contact.
Okay, that makes sense. Deputy Commissioner Linda Williams, thanks for joining us this morning for breaking it up.
You're welcome. Thank you.
It's a wild old story, isn't it?
Quite extraordinary. Well,
who knows what happened?
Yeah.
We can't speculate, we don't know. But I can understand the point of, if the only bit of video that exists is the very last bit, as opposed to whatever may or may not have been happening in the lead up to it. Who knows?
Yeah.
But that's not to give any preemptive cover to the police in question, because maybe they have done totally the wrong thing.
I worry about the people that are family members that want to have a say. Yeah. That were there. That I wonder what they think. We can only wonder, because we're not going to be allowed to know.
Well, the whole thing sounds extremely sad. The bloke's he's living with disabilities.
Yeah, awful.
Terrible.
17 minutes after 8, we've shifted things around a bit. Trevor Long's going to join us, a tech expert, to talk Optus very, very shortly. So Koshy will be up after 8:30. We'll talk to Koshy about interest rates and Port Adelaide after 8:30. Let's check traffic and come back with more in just a moment. Thanks to Keezer. Are you tired of back pain? Try Keezer, KIESER.com.au.
Thanks, Will. Starting to get busy in the usual spots this morning. The Port River Expressway at Port Adelaide. Also, Green Hill Road at Unley sluggish and quite busy at the moment. Brighton Road at Glenelg East. Have a lane closed at Salisbury Park Terrace near Paternoster Road. Speeds at 25. And look out for those road plates at Edwardstown. South Road just near Dawes Road as they're fixing waterworks. Cameras McGill Road, McGill and South Terrace in the city. Joint pain can really slow you down. Keep life moving with Bauer finds German-engineered knee braces, compression and supports. Call or visit 13knees.com.au today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
Tom Koutsantonis has promised the 5031 action group, we're going to preserve the trees. I've had a gutful of this. 10 trees. I'm telling you, I've got a tomahawk and a litre of diesel, and I'm just starting to get ready to... What?
No, you're not doing that.
I'm sick of compromise. Get stuffed.
Rowie and Timmy G.
God, Adelaide can disappoint me like nothing else.
4 p.m. weekdays on 5AA.
G'day, it's Rory Sloane for Jarvis Toyota. The new and improved Hilux Rogue is wider, taller and tougher. The 2.8 litre turbo diesel engine pumps out 150 kilowatts of effortless power, enough to cruise through the work week and power into the weekend. Hilux Rogue is loaded with enhancements for on and off-road performance. Check out the new Hilux Rogue for yourself today at Jarvis Toyota, South Road, Clovelly Park. Proudly celebrating 21 years of great deals.
The sun is shining, so it's the perfect time to farewell hefty electricity bills and welcome a brighter future with NRG Solar. Unlock the power of the sun with cutting-edge solar battery technology that's backed by a rock-solid 10-year warranty, saves you thousands, and empowers you to control your energy usage like never before with a simple-to-use app. This summer, add value to your home and say goodbye to blackouts. Don't wait. Visit nrgsolar.com.au. That's nrgsolar.com.au.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. The Lynn Andrews team have seen a lot of change in real estate over the past 50 years. But one thing remains unchanged: our passion to help people invest in their future, to build strong property portfolios in either the residential or the commercial sectors. Our commitment to property investment over the years means we have a wealth of knowledge to share. We're here to help you. Visit lynandrews.com.au.
It isn't waste until you waste it. That's the catch cry from an amazing company called Eco Waste Solutions. Eco Waste Solutions is a hard waste recycling facility, not a dump, located at Williston. They'll take everything except hazardous waste and food scraps. They'll take your waste bricks, your mattresses, tyres, soil, timber, steel, concrete and more. Plus, if you pre-sort your load, you receive a 50% discount on disposal fees. Google Eco Waste Solutions Williston for more.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Jobs, apprenticeships, traineeships and careers. Maxima can help. Learn more today at maxima.com.au.
21 after 8. Danny and Craigmore's called in on 8223 Morning to you, Danny.
Good morning, boys. How are you?
Good, thanks, Danny.
Just want to make a bit of a comment here. What do you think? We all go digital currency now that the whole Optus system's gone down Australia-wide. And curiously, on X, they've actually blocked all the comments for any of their customers.
Well, Optus have.
Yes, they have.
Yeah,
really?
I'm just looking at it. You're right. They have no replies. That's brave, isn't
Oh,
it?
yeah, let's go digital currency. What could go wrong until it does?
Thank you,
That's
Danny.
amazing that they've blocked comments. They're not handling it very well, are they?
I can't believe they still... There's a 30-word statement is all we've got.
Well, they are owned by Singapore. That's a sort of traditional Singaporean response,
That's
I think.
true.
To,
Yeah, but you know what? In Singapore, stuff tends to work.
Well, that's right.
So maybe they're not used to it. Let's talk to Trevor Long, who's the editor at EFTM. You've heard Trevor on 5AA and seen him on various TV breakfast programs over the journey. He's a wonderful tech expert. Trevor, good morning to you. Can you make sense of what's going on here?
I'm starting to get angry, I'll be honest, and I'm not even an Optus customer. I was up at 4 a.m. this morning and started noticing these complaints and concerns from customers. I reached out to Optus. I got that short statement from them, and they have blocked comments on all of their Facebook and Twitter posts, so that caller is absolutely spot on. But 5 hours into an outage, we should have some sense of broadly, is this going to take all day? Is this going to be back soon? Also, is this an internal issue or an external issue?
Yeah. Totally.
I'll inside baseball, but 2 minutes ago I emailed Optus and said, guys, it's been 5 hours. What can you tell me? I've literally just received an email which says the exact same thing as they told me 2 hours ago. So we don't know. We have no idea. And the thing is, this is not just you and me who, as Optus customers, if you've got a mobile phone. This is Optus home broadband customers, which makes this the biggest telco outage in Australia's history because we've never had a network go down with both their broadband and their mobile, right?
Wow.
That's huge. So the other thing is, as the day progresses, you're going to find businesses turning up and realising this doesn't work because it's on Optus. An FPOS terminal that allows you to take payments from your customers doesn't work because it might be on Optus. Commonwealth Bank has confirmed to me this morning that if you try and transfer money, that may not happen because it needs to send you that SMS net code.
Yeah, of
and
course.
they can't send the codes, even to Telstra and Vodafone customers. They can't send codes out. So the ramifications are enormous on this kind of thing.
Trevor, we did a little segment called Breaking It Out. We did one yesterday about this pay dispute between the CPSU and the federal government around money, but also around the right of staff to work from home. With working from home, I mean, I think it's the Federal Department of Infrastructure has now got, I think, almost 40% of its staff work from home 4 days out of 10. You know, close to half their working life. So many people who work from home today won't be able to do any work.
That's right. Optus is no small telco. They are the second biggest telco in Australia. They probably have second to third largest number of home broadband customers as well. So the number of homes without internet this morning would be in the millions, and therefore the percentage of those work from home people would be high. Now, what's the ramifications there? Are you forced to go to work if you can't connect? Do you just hotspot off your mobile phone, and who's paying for that? Like, there's so many little things that are ramifications of these kind of issues.
So, Trevor, in the absence of any hard and fast detail from Optus, all we can do is guess and speculate. But what might cause an outage this big?
I'm going to say it's a cyber attack. You know why I'm going to say that? Because Optus is media monitoring, no doubt, and they know everything I'm saying on your radio station. I'm just going to keep calling it a cyber attack until they call me and tell me what it is. Because, at this point, what else could it be? Because I've spoken to people in the telecommunications game saying this is highly unusual. For your mobile network to go down, there's a bunch of things you can blame. For your broadband network to go down, there's a bunch of things you can blame. But for both to go down, they're intrinsically not really linked, other than essentially at the accounts department. So, really, I don't know what it is. The honest truth is we don't know what it is. It could be anything, but we can't rule out a cyber attack, and we can't rule out a power failure as well. So there's a broad spectrum of what it could be. It's certainly not great communications from a communications company.
Just finally, Trev, do you think that someone there might have tried turning it off, then turning it back on again yet?
If they're listening, that's the best thing they could do. Whatever, just turn everything off and turn everything back on again. 90% of the time, that works.
That's great, Trevor. Trevor, great analysis, mate. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
No worries.
Trevor Long, editor at EFTM, an excellent tech expert.
It always works with Foxtel.
Yeah, it works.
When my Foxtel plays up, I just turn it off. I'm going, hang on a minute, I'm halfway through watching Anthony Bourdain in Portugal. Got all glitchy on me.
RAA have just tweeted an important update on roadside calls. If you're after roadside assistance this morning, please call 8202 4600 and we'll connect you directly to our team. You can also book via the app. Our dedicated roadside hotline is currently congested due to the Optus network outage. So RAA roadside assistance has been affected, but they have an alternative. 8202 4600 is the way to go about it. I'm still looking at that Optus Twitter account. No update, nothing. No one can comment. No one can interact with them. The longer it goes on, I mean, the more spectacular the reason has to be, unless it's a spectacular failure of communication. As Trevor said, the biggest network outage in Australian history right now.
Well, I mean, you know, in the vacuum that Optus is creating, it almost encourages speculation. But they would have a lot of personal information about their customers as well. I mean, well, they've got all their mobile numbers. That's what they do. They're a mobile provider, internet provider. So who knows? I mean, are they maybe the thing in their defence that's taking them so long is they want to 100% guarantee the sanctity of everyone's private data.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, look, there's a chance they're a victim. There's a chance they're a victim of a criminal attack. In which case, we have to start having a conversation with the federal government to take control of cybersecurity or take a greater interest, because it's clearly then beyond the capability of private entities in this country to defend themselves. For Optus to get done again. Like, there's a bigger conversation if that's where we're at.
Yeah, totally.
Do we chat with Harry yet? Harry, good morning.
Not yet.
Hello, Harry.
How are you?
Good, mate.
Yeah, I'm not an Optus user. I'm through Vodafone, but it is affecting me big time. I can't even get in touch with my bank, Westpac. I can't use the ATMs at Westpac, and people like me need to go and do their shopping or whatever. And I think it's pretty poor that an organisation, not just Optus, but an organisation like Westpac can't even reach out and make a statement about, are we able to use the ATMs? Are we able to go into the bank and get money out?
Yeah.
I've heard nothing from Westpac, and here they are making all their profit.
Yep, no, fair enough, Harry. Good one, Harry from Ascot Park there. Thank you.
Thank you, Harry. I'm just looking at Westpac. They've just, in the last 17 minutes, issued a statement on their Twitter account. They say the current Optus outage means we're unable to take some calls at this time. Our branches, chat, mobile and internet banking services are still up and running. So, Harry, hopefully that helps you out. We'll keep you updated here. So, I mean, Westpac can't get through to Optus. What chance does the average Australian have?
My bank app's got a thing saying we can't do transfers at the moment. I think everyone's in the same boat.
5AA News coming up. There are developments. You'll hear them here on 5AA. David Kosh will join us next.
Remember when milk came in bottles? I mean real glass bottles. It somehow tasted better and it was better for the planet. That's why the FIVEAA Milk Company have partnered with the Udder Way to bring you milk in a glass bottle. The reduction in single-use plastic bottles will be phenomenal, in the millions. Join the fight to reduce plastic and look for milk refill stations in your supermarket. Thanks to FIVEAA Milk Company and the Udder Way. Visit fluoriomilkco.com.au for more.
Vidorlis Garden Centre celebrating 63 years in business this weekend, and there's only one way to celebrate, with a massive birthday sale. 20% off outdoor furniture and barbecues, 20% off indoor plants, 20% off outdoor plants, 20% off pots, 20% off Christmas decorations, 20% off fertilisers, potting mix and garden tools. Friday to Monday, some conditions apply. Vidorlis Garden Centre's birthday sale. Main North Road, Gawler, opposite the racecourse.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Partly cloudy and 27 with the 8:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Complete windscreen supply and fit, front, rear and door glass. Proudly South Australian since 1976.
Optus is facing a nationwide outage with up to 10 million customers unable to make calls or use the internet. Michael Packey has the latest.
Individuals, businesses and some public services have been unable to access the Optus network as the telco is affected by a mass outage. Business owner Kylie Clear says she's been left in the dark.
We're a small family-owned business. It just feels like it's another blow.
Communications Minister Michelle Rowland believes the problem is deep and significant and is urging Optus to get on the front foot and use all mediums available to explain to its customers what is going on.
They do have an obligation from their operator to be updated.
Optus has released a short statement saying it's aware of the issue and is working to fix it.
Here in SA Water has been impacted. It's urging customers to use email to get in touch. The RAA has also been impacted. It's asking people to use the app. A leading property expert says the latest rate hike will put a dent in the housing market. Borrowers will be forced to pull back on spending to make debt repayments. CoreLogic Research Director Tim Lawless says an increase in interest rates was expected as inflation remains high.
Hopefully this is the last rate hike in the cycle, but it probably does mean, with inflation expected to remain high for longer, that we're not going to be seeing a rate cut anytime soon. At the very least, we're looking probably at the second half of next year for rates to start coming down.
A woman will face court today after a brazen jewellery store robbery in the city. It's alleged she asked to see a tray of jewellery at the James Place shop yesterday afternoon before pepper spraying the staff member in the face and running off. He chased her and managed to get the jewellery back, but the woman fled, dropping the bottle of liquid and a taser. After further investigations, a 42-year-old was arrested and charged with aggravated robbery, possess a prohibited weapon and breach of bail. A shed went up in flames at Christie Downs early this morning. Crystal Mitchell from the MFS says the blaze broke out on Marcian Street just before 5.
12 firefighters wearing breathing apparatus with high-pressure lines extinguished the fire in 20 minutes. The shed contained 2 Harley-Davidson bikes and a spa. Fire cause investigators will be attending this morning to determine damage and cause.
A man will face court accused of driving a car without a licence when it crashed in Sydney's southwest, killing 2 boys aged 13 and 14. The 27-year-old's facing multiple offences, including 2 counts of aggravated dangerous driving, occasioning death. While detectives have interviewed the driver involved in a crash at Dalesford in Victoria, but no charges have yet been laid. The 66-year-old man remains in the care of medical staff. Police say their inquiries will continue after his eventual release from care. Medical experts are pushing for children to be restricted to low or no contact sport, claiming the risk of head injuries is too high. Emily Minnie reports.
The federal government is being encouraged to adopt the recommendations of an inquiry into sports-related brain injuries, including limiting children to low or no contact sports. The Royal College of Pathologists of Australasia is warning about a link between CTE and repetitive head trauma and concussion. The disease can only be diagnosed after death through autopsy and has been found in the brains of several athletes, especially in NRL and AFL players. The college is warning players' risk of developing CTE becomes higher the longer they play contact sport.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderroll Garage Doors new Platinum and Native Series sectional doors are here. Gliderroll.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Let's start with cricket. Australia has booked its spot in the World Cup semi-finals after an incredible 3-wicket win over Afghanistan. Glenn Maxwell smashed an unbeaten 201 as the Aussies recovered from 7 for 91 to chase down 292 with 19 balls to spare. Well, the trainer of Without a Fight says the Melbourne Cup winner could return next year to defend its crown. Sam Freedman says the 7-year-old will now have a spell as they formulate a plan with its owner.
Well, he's earned a good break, I think. He's had a busy spring, so we're going to give him a nice break in the paddock and have a chat with his owner, Sheikh Mohammed Obaid, and we'll come up with a plan for him for 2024. But yeah, we might try and do it again next year. That would be nice.
Audio thanks to Nine's Today Show. Let's go to soccer. Manchester City has booked its spot in the knockout stages of the European Champions League following a clinical 3-0 win at home against Young Boys. Erling Haaland putting the finishing touches on the result in the second half.
Lewis for Haaland. Kovacic told to get out of the way, and that's why! What a hit from Erling Haaland.
Gorgeous finish, that. Audio thanks to Optus, but Newcastle faces a difficult task of qualifying after a 2-0 loss to Borussia Dortmund. In that same group, AC Milan came from a goal down to beat Paris Saint-Germain 2-1. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
Reimagine your home, elevate your life at 88 O'Connell Street Luxury Apartments. See 88o'connell.com.
Get your GYG approved crispy chicken tender taco, free range Lilydale chicken breast tender, lettuce, cheese and a drizzle of chipotle mayo, only at Guzmani Gomez. Busy at the moment, South Road at Theberton, slow Cormac Road at Wingfield and getting busy Park Terrace at Bowden. Do have a lane closed at Salisbury. Look out for this morning, Park Terrace near Paternoster Road and a camera Hallett Road at Stonyfield. 30 days, 30 deals is back at Macca's. A new deal every day for all of November. Like a cheeseburger for only $1. You don't want to miss these deals, only on the My Macca's app. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
When you've earned your dream bathroom, speak to Bathrooms by Design, Clovelly Park and Lonsdale.
Partly cloudy and 27 today, sunny tomorrow, 29, up to 35 on Friday, and then partly cloudy Saturday, 24. At the moment, 17. More news as it happens on 5AA.
I was just doing my job. I didn't think I'd get injured.
The doctor said it was a routine procedure? Right.
The car came out of nowhere and it smashed right into us.
At DBH Lawyers, we're here to listen to your story. Our team of local South Australian lawyers will help you navigate the law and find the best way forward. We're with you. We're for you. We're DBH Lawyers. dbh.com.au.
Dreaming of a new car? Now's the time to make it happen at Solitaire Volkswagen. With unbeatable deals on new and demonstrator vehicles in stock now and ready to drive away. Visit Solitaire Volkswagen, Hawthorne and Medindie today. DL 65541.
Now, this is a very timely pre-Christmas message. Sam Tass's pre-Christmas sale is on now. Unbeatable prices on SA Premium King Prawns for the festive season. How's this? And look, get in now, beat the rush. Extra large SA cooked king prawns, $26.99 a kilo, or medium large at $18.99, with 3 kilo packs, just $55.
Plus, you'll find full stock of all sizes from the mediums up to and including the elusive, exceptional double jumbos, all cooked, packed and frozen at sea. Cooked crayfish, they're $87.80 per kilo.
You can feed the family on a budget with Sam Tass's unbeatable quality seafood deal. Snap frozen kilo packs of your favourite seafoods. Mix and match, 4 kilos and it's still just $60.
Heaps of variety too. Choices include Tassie salmon, snapper and dory fillets in the deal. Sam Tass Seafoods, they're open 7 days. Adelaide's SA King Prawn, fresh fish, seafood and freshly opened daily oyster specialists.
Factory direct with convenient on-site free parking. Sam Tass Seafoods, Richmond Road, Richmond, and they're open Sunday too.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Jobs, apprenticeships, traineeships and careers. Maxima can help. Learn more today at maxima.com.au.
21 to 9. Got a Smeg rumour in just a moment. If you'd like to win yourself an excellent Smeg mixer furnish us with a rumour, 8223 You're building or renovating, your first choice, you'll be visiting the Smeg showroom at Debney Distributors. Taste the difference with Smeg. Everyone gets, a fake name because we protect the identities of our Smeg Rumophile people, picked by Lucy. Lucy, the Optus customer, who's obviously pretty disappointed with how things have played out this morning, makes your job as a producer of a radio show hard when your phone doesn't work. She has named our Rumophile contestants after opposing telcos. So our first rumour is from Vodafone. Morning, Vodafone.
Good morning. That's a good name, isn't it?
Yeah, I like it. Works well. We can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I'm Telstra, so that's lucky.
Oh, that's good, mate.
Yeah, the rumour I got's about Australia Post. Next year, they might be going back to the COVID way of delivering letters every second day because they're that busy. The other days, they'll be delivering more parcels.
Oh, really?
Okay.
They've already wound back on it as it is.
Talked about a whole heap of massive changes. Talk about introducing, you can buy coffee at Australia Post stores. It's one of the suggestions. I reckon it's great.
Seriously?
Any business that sells a coffee is 90% more likely to get me through the door.
Imagine that. You go there to pick up your parcel and there's someone standing there. 10 minutes later, you're still waiting. It's a ridiculous idea.
It's a great idea. In fact,
we should have one of our trademark fights about something of zero consequence.
No, my argument is you put it in a I don't know, a woman's clothing store. You put a coffee machine somewhere and I'm coming in. I don't care what you sell.
Why?
Because I want one.
But what about all the...
It's like a moth to flame.
What about all the
resist.
standalone baristas who've been out there slaving away for years?
Well, if I walk past them first, I'll probably go there too. I'm just saying, you can dramatically increase your odds of my patronage if you sell coffee.
How much coffee do you need?
More than you imagine.
You're an addict, Will.
I've got a problem.
I'm worried about your behaviour.
Thank you.
As Sal says in Dog Day Afternoon, the body is the temple of the Lord. What are you doing?
Thank God he's not with Optus. Koshy, good morning to you.
I think you two have had too much coffee this morning.
Well, somebody has.
Oh,
Every time he sees some, he has to buy one.
You know how hard it is doing a talkback radio program, Koshy, when half the country's phones don't work?
I know. That's extraordinary, isn't it? Just reminds you how dependent on technology we are.
It's amazing. It's hard to remember how the world actually functioned without it, but the world did function without it quite nicely.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, crystal clear. Lib and I are in a week off, so...
Oh, nice.
That's the other side of technology. But you stay connected anywhere.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
So, Koshy, is it true we're going to be bidding farewell to the mighty Maggies from the Sandful? And when do you think it's going to happen?
Well, no. Look, really, it's up to the AFL. What I think both South Australian clubs have made the point to the AFL that our second-tier teams need to play in a competition that is conducive to developing our players. That we're in a competition that there's a level playing field with all the other clubs in that competition. That we don't play under separate rules, and I think it's we're in the business of trying to get success for our players and develop them to the utmost. And if the AFL wants a level playing field, it's got to be at that second tier as well. And at the moment, it's not. It's as simple as that. And it's you've got 14 teams developing their players under the on a level playing field, and you've got 4, the 2 South Australian clubs and the 2 West Australian clubs, who play in a competition that doesn't really develop their players as well as the other 14.
Well, I don't think we've actually heard anything from the Crows yet in response to or in light of what you guys said. Have you spoken to them about it? I know they're trying to not chop down trees at the moment in Thebarton, but...
Yes, and negotiate with Sample and the amateurs about moving into Thebarton. I should ask you, Tim, as the son of a Crows director and the partner of a Crows director, you've obviously
it's not like
having
it's not pillow talk, mate. If that's what you're inferring.
Oh, come on!
What do you think? We lie around at night talking about draft picks?
To be honest, that's all I only text the dad about list management, Koshy. I don't really concern myself with the financial matters of the club. He just gets my suggestions all the time and summarily dismisses them.
I think, the Crows are certainly in a position where they've got negotiations. How can I put it delicately? Negotiations with other parties at the moment that probably have a higher priority, but they are on the same page. Put it that way.
Koshy, we've heard a lot about the exit from the SANFL, but not a lot from the AFL side of this in terms of what does the second tier competition look like, and presumably you've had some conversations about that. Otherwise, you wouldn't have moved ahead. So, what can you tell us about how that might work?
It's been on the radar for quite a while, for a number of years. It was just a matter of timing of a national second-tier competition. At the moment, you've got the VFL, which has 14 of the 18 clubs playing the VFL. They used to have the NEFL, which was a second-tier competition for the northern states, but they all joined the VFL, and it's been discussed for a number of years, and we're just asking the question of the AFL now: what are their plans? Can they give us some sight on it? The AFL confirmed; they're the ones that confirmed that we had approached them to discuss the issue. We didn't bring it up publicly; they did, and it's developed from there.
How do you think the RBA is going at the moment, doing that delicate dance between controlling inflation and not sending the country into recession?
It is a really delicate dance, Will. I thought, just for a smidgen there, on Monday when the October monthly CPI figure actually went down for the first time in 14 months, that the RBA may have said, "Oh, okay, is this the start of quite a fall in inflation that's going to get us back to that target range?" Because you remember we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, and I said, look, my fear was September was going to be higher than most people expected because the September quarter, CPI, the quarter, included all of those traditional new financial year increases in government charges and tolls, and the global oil price was up, that it may come in higher than everyone thought. It did, but now the October one has come out and come down. Global oil prices are coming down. There's a fairly big body of evidence that inflation will be a lot weaker in the December quarter, which is going to be good. Now, I think that's reflected in the commentary from the Reserve Bank around the decision, which was softer than the previous month. So I think they're giving an indication that they're hopeful that this will be the last rate increases that we look at, and inflation will start to trend in the right way and keep them happy.
Fingers crossed, life will be a hell of a lot more bearable for so many people. It's been hard, hasn't it? It's really flogging people.
Really tough. It is tough out there. And you look at employment figures that also came out, job vacancies and job advertisements on Monday, they were weak as well. So it's not just households, it's small businesses that are really suffering at the moment and starting to cut back staff. It is, it is a real crossroads at the moment. And the Reserve Bank, because it can move really quickly. Weakness can really move quickly in the economy. And you don't want it to get out of control on the downside, because you don't wish that on anyone. You don't wish financial hardship on any family, because that just destroys relationships, puts so much stress on people. Now, it's all very good for economists to say, oh, let's increase unemployment, but the human cost is just awful.
Absolutely.
Awful.
Good on you, Dave. We'll catch up again next week, mate. David Koch there, Port Adelaide Football Club chairman, having a nice relaxing break with Lib.
All right, let's check traffic. Thanks to Keezer. You're tired of back pain? We'll try Keezer, KIESER.com.au.
Thanks, Will. Getting busy in the usual spots this morning. South Road at Featherton, also Cormac Road at Wingfield. Sluggish Park Terrace at Bowden. Lane closed at Salisbury this morning. Park Terrace near Paternoster Road, speeds at 25. And we've got Cameras Briar Road, Felixstowe, and Greenock Road at Greenock. The King end of year sale is on now. Save up to 50% on selected Australian design indoor and outdoor furniture. Sale on now. Visit the King Living Keswick showroom today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
On 5AA mornings today, the Optus outage. Up to 10 million people could be affected by the telco hanging up an out-of-order sign with little communication so far. Also, the Anti-Poverty Network in SA launching their annual Renters Survey at State Parliament today. I'm Matthew Pantelis. Those stories and more, I look forward to you joining me from 9.
You've decided to build? It's exciting stuff. When you've found land, it's a good idea to get advice on what you can build on your new parcel of paradise. Get Steve from Beechwood Homes to take a look. There's no obligation, and you'll get a great understanding of what's possible. Sloping block, flat block, weird shaped block, or block on a cliff. Speak with Steve from Beechwood Homes for all the possibilities. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. Google Beechwood Adelaide.
City Discount Tires.
For the best advice and price on tyres and mechanical, see City Discount Tyres. With local deals on the world's biggest and best brands in tyres, wheels, suspension and parts for four-wheel drive, SUVs and passenger cars. Finance available. Find your nearest dealer at citydiscounttyres.com.au. We're driven by value.
City Discount Tires.
Now, swimming should always feel fun, even when you're learning, and that's what children with a disability will find at FIVEAA Academy.
While other swim schools are too crowded or overstimulating, FIVEAA Academy is hydrotherapy-based and designed to teach swimming to children with disability by strengthening their water safety, endurance, motor skills, and in a 2-on-1 or 3-on-1 environment, which gives them the confidence to develop their social skills and communication.
FIVEAA Academy is the passion project of Chelsea Marchetti, a trained physiotherapist with years of experience in one-on-one hydrotherapy and a real passion for helping kids develop essential skills in a supportive environment.
What a great idea.
Yeah,
FIVEAA Academy is NDIS endorsed, autism swim approved, and more fun than a dolphin doing backflips. Visit flipperacademy.com.au to learn more.
Over 60,000 Adelaide homes have said yes to saving money on their energy bills with Yes, your energy saving solutions. What's keeping you? Did you know that you might be eligible for a rebate on a new appliance like a dryer or fridge? You might even qualify for a purchase you've already made. Just visit the Yes website for a list of appliances and the size of the cashback available. For T's and C's on this unbeatable offer from your energy saving solutions, go to yes.net.au. That's yes.net.au.
You can do just about anything online. Shop, meet new friends, watch reruns of your favourite TV shows or movies. But there's one thing you should never do online, and that's your will. From the simplest to the most complex wills and estate plans, Donlan Lawyers can answer your questions and help carry out your final wishes. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com. Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Know someone finishing school and looking for an apprenticeship or a traineeship? Visit maxima.com.au.
7 to 9 behind closed doors in just a moment. Country just waking up to the Optus outages. We're learning all sorts of things that aren't working this morning. So much of it's been from you, our listeners, via the text line, thanks to Duttons and calling in. But things like this. Adelaide Metro have just put out some advice. Their info line is unable to receive calls due to the Optus outage. They apologise for any inconvenience caused. Obviously, it's not Adelaide Metro's fault. Timetable, ticketing and journey planning information can be found at the website adelaidemetro.com.au. Still nothing from Optus.
No.
Nothing.
The longer it goes, the more it sounds like it's something big. Hey, just reflecting on that FIVEAA Academy ad, the special new swimming school for kids with disabilities. You know, I reckon it's really good. I don't know enough about it yet. And I want to maybe line up some interviews about it. But this autism campaign that the state government is running about getting people with autism into jobs, I think it's a really
fantastic,
good, and it seems to be something that no other government has done anywhere else in Australia. I think it's a really cool thing that they're doing.
There's plenty of incredibly capable and talented people that have autism spectrum disorder.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, and it can actually be of benefit.
This is why I always take massive issue with the fact that reporting on so much of this stuff seems to be weirdo criminal A says, well, I only got into this because of my autism spectrum disorder.
Oh, yeah. Where it's I reckon there's so many, totally upright people who have got autism going, what a crock that is.
Well, I always think it's treated as some sort of victimless submission to a court trial and gets reported on. And then the public perception is that these people have got, they're prone to violence or crime. Like, it's actually bloody offensive to people that have this or have it in the family when just decent, good, hard-working and capable people out there.
We got a guy with autism who works at one of our local little supermarkets, and he's the most thorough bloke.
Yeah, I bet.
And really nice, beautifully mannered, really friendly, remembers your name, remembers what you want. He's terrific.
It should be an aggravating offence in a court trial if you try on a mental health.
Yeah, completely.
If you bung it on and it gets determined.
But isn't there like an autism minister here now? They've changed the portfolio. Clearly, I haven't paid any really deep attention to it, but I think it's good.
It's a great idea.
As a matter of principle, it's a good thing.
All right, let's go behind closed doors. Thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight, distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
And when we get behind
The FIVEAA Gardening Show with Mike Keelan and Brad Aldridge.
Oh, here we are again. It's great to be here with Michael Keelan's Gardening Show, the great man Michael Keelan himself. How are you, great man?
Right, I'm well, thanks. Brad, how are you?
Oh, Michael, just wind me up and let me go, and I can't be stopped. You can call us on 8223 text us on 844 1395.
Right. Well, today, look, Brad, we have a fantastic prize to give away.
We do!
It's a Husqvarna battery-operated hedge trimmer, just fantastic in the garden. I'm really into the battery gardening tools. You use the corded ones these days. They're heavy. You get fatigued very quickly.
Oh, yeah, you do, don't you, with the electric ones? Oh!
Yeah, but how many times have you cut through the cord?
Oh, yeah!
I've done it a few times.
Yeah, it's always a problem with the electric ones, but the battery ones, you don't have that problem, Michael.
No, that's right.
So, you're a battery family, are you, Michael?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Rather than an electric family?
Well, but obviously we're still an electric family, but...
But you just said you prefer the battery-operated ones, Michael, rather than the electric ones.
Well, no, battery-operated ones are electric ones, Brad.
Oh, how do you mean, Michael?
Batteries carry electricity inside them, Brad. That's how they manage to work, by storing electricity.
Oh, a bit of a technical point there.
No, it's not a technical point. It's just a fact.
A little tiny bit technical?
No, not even a little tiny bit technical. You plug it in or you use a battery, it's still electricity.
Well...
No, not well. It's the way it is.
No, all right then. What's the difference between a spade and a shovel?
Well, a spade is blunt at the end, so it's squared off on the blade. So
yeah, all right. Yeah.
Instead of the head of it being rounded, because that would then mean it would be a shovel.
Okay, well, let me get this straight. So the spade is...
Oh, look.
2 to 9, time for Fuel Watch. Download the free RAA app today to find the cheapest fuel in an instant. Remember, having listened to Michelle Bullock, the Reserve Bank boss, you need to listen to Fuel Watch now, not only as someone who might fill up the car, but if you have a mortgage, you need to cheer for petrol prices to go down. The Ampol, Tapley's Hill Road, Fulham Gardens is $1.99.5. The OTR 5 Ash Drive, Pasadena, $1.98.3. The cheapest is the ex-convenience Main North Road, Jeps Cross at $1.82.9. And the cheapest diesel, the Liberty Pettis Crescent, Regency Park at $1.98.5. Matt Pantelis is coming up, and we'll catch you tomorrow morning from 6.
Shop great value gifting this Christmas at Coles. Like half-price Cadbury chocolate-covered fruit or nut, $1.90 to $3.40 gram jars, now just $5.